Here, I can give another recommendation because it came on earlier. Weird Al Show is free on YouTube right now. Free with ads, but pretty entertaining if no one's ever watched it before. Yes, it's meant to be like a kid's show. It was supposed to be. But by the end of it, it's a really bad one because Al clearly just does not care and is just pushing boundaries and is just having a lot of fun with being mean-spirited through it, and it's really entertaining. Yeah, the kid asking where he came from. I like that the end of a lot of these episodes is just the lesson gets learned and then it turns around on itself and nothing was learned. They tell you what the moral of the episode is supposed to be at the beginning, but then sometimes they don't even play into the moral. Even the end of that one, the one with the holidays, that he needs to listen to other people. So he was hoping they're going to listen to him then, and then everybody wants to leave immediately. They're very good about... oh man, that too! As the show goes on, they're getting bored with these, like, hold cards that they do before the commercial break. And what starts happening is they keep freeze-framing on Al making goofy faces, and they start just using video editing to do weird warping effects, like, very subtly. During one of the commercial breaks, it was a freeze frame of Al looking at the camera, and as the narrator's talking, his eyes were slowly, like, melting down his face. So just the editors were having fun goofing around with dumb visuals. It's a really entertaining show. It's really, really funny. Opening is solid, too. Very good opening for a TV show. And also, probably just one of the... For a show starring Weird Al, it's the best opening I think he could have ever possibly have done for that. It goes through multiple art styles, even. They don't look great, necessarily, but... still, for the time period, pretty impressive. You got stop motion, you got CG, you got traditional 2D animation. But yeah, if no one ever watched it before, go check it out for sure. It's I mean, it's free now. Yeah, we did want to go. Because you brought it up, but we both said, like, we're not going to have money to do that kind of thing. We would have liked to have gone to have seen it. I know Gorillaz, too, they're going to be doing a tour, and it's like, well, it'd be fun, but there's no way we're going to have money to do that kind of thing. We are in the middle of nowhere, so going out to do anything requires already, like, a lot of, like, hours and hours and hours of just... having to go out, like having to leave where we're living so we can actually find things to do. That's why we don't typically take trips or anything. We haven't really had vacations or anything in a long time. We at least were able to visit friends a couple of times over, I'd say over the years. I can't really say that as an honest statement lately, because it's been about 2 years, I think, since we've been to LA. I think it's 2 years exactly now, isn't it? I think it was around this time that we went. It has been a very long time, though. But the last real trip we took, outside of anything like that, was the trip to Chicago, and that was like 2017. So it's been a long time. I wonder how different LA would even be. Because every time that we did go back, it was kind of depressing that a new business would have replaced an old one. You'd always see a place has now closed down that used to always be there. We were sad that the arcade that we were liking to go to had a fire the last time that we visited, so we couldn't go. Curry House is gone. I heard that, they closed, like everything, right, in LA? They closed every restaurant ever? I heard a news story about that, I think. And then someone's gonna go, yeah, I think I heard that too. And see, that's how you get it spread. And then the next day, everybody will go, wait, what? Food didn't run out. What's going on? Why is everyone saying the food ran out? I do kind of miss when nerds on the internet kind of knew that they were just nerds on the internet. You had people doing dumber things like, hey, let's all go Naruto run at Area 51. Okay, have fun. It's not like really bad or anything, I guess, but good luck. I don't know how that's gonna go for you. But it was just like innocent, goofy things that people were doing. Someone said LA is kinda trash. The thing is, I would say absolutely that is like LA. It's very messy. It's very dirty. I don't know if I would say like trash at this point though, because now after living like deep south, I don't think I feel that way anymore. I've lived in so many parts of the country at this point now that LA, well, maybe it wasn't my favorite experience. The thing is, you got to remember too, California is so broad as a state anyways, and LA is even a pretty big area. But I wouldn't go that far anymore to say it's like completely garbage. There can be some nasty atmosphere out there. There can be some horrible people out there considering what Hollywood even is, but I feel like if you're just visiting or something, you're probably going to have a lot of fun because there's a lot to do. And that was kind of the appeal. There was a lot to do. I kind of miss cozy, like, drives down that freeway at night. The sun is setting. You're just kind of on the road on that freeway for a while, wrapping around, like, the mountainside. I kind of miss it.
I wish I could say I miss it. The traffic.
Oh, no, the traffic, but... Oh, because you have motion sickness in cars.
I instinctively feel sick.
Yeah. Because we were just watching Cromartie a while back, and that as we were watching it, we were like, oh my god, I'm starting to get sick now thinking about these, like, experiences if I was there. I forgot, yeah, you have motion sickness. The thing I was going to add on to that is, it was kind of cozy, and then as you know, get around the mountainside, you see the mountains are now on fire, and you get to go, uh-oh, I live over there. But no, it's like the same thing, I think, with people saying stuff like, oh man, fuck Reddit. Clearly Twitter's the better website. No, fuck Twitter. Clearly YouTube's the better website. You're all wrong. It's all about TikTok. No, you're crazy. It's about the 4chan. No, you're crazy. It's about something awful. No, really, guys, really, it's making a comeback. It's making a comeback. It's making a... I feel like saying LA is trash is kind of a statement like that. That's not much of a statement. You're not really saying anything. And it's usually a lot of people speaking with kind of like... It can come from experience. I think I've seen plenty of people be frustrated with it out there. There's good reason to be. But once again, I won't go as far as saying like it's one of the worst places I've been to in the U.S. There is some stuff about it I like out there. There are some neat things out there. The beach is nice. I like being able to go over to Santa Monica and we were heading to the beach. That was nice. But no, there's a lot that makes it just totally inconvenient. The price is obviously the craziest part of it. So many areas are so filthy out there, and yet you're spending way more money than you would spend to have a house anywhere else. We did also get a raw deal. The apartment we were living in was horrible when we were out there, and we had a horrible landlord that was in the process of getting sued after we moved. The person who got our apartment after we left, we bumped into him, and he told us he was in the process of filing a lawsuit against her. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's the worst experience. It's just, it's got its problems. And depending on who you are, those problems might be way too major for you to even want to consider going out there. And for other people, it might not be a big deal at all. On my end, it's kind of a mixed bag. I liked a lot out there. It's just some of the other aspects were making it frustrating. And money was the biggest part. It feels totally illogical to live in a location like that when it's that hard to get by. And then some of the jobs out there, some of the industry out there, are jobs that don't even pay you enough that you could even feasibly make a living out there. So many stories coming from like Uber drivers about like, oh yeah, I work at an office building and they've just accepted that they don't pay enough for anyone to actually like afford a home. So a lot of the workers are just, you know, sleeping in their cars. And they'll use the facilities inside to like bathe and everything, but then they go back to their car. Very needless with that, just how cruel it can get.
Folks are talking about how bad homelessness is going.
Oh, I would imagine, especially after like pandemic and inflation and everything too. I'm sure like homelessness is even worse out there.
I forget all the details.
Because I remember hearing landlords getting really stingy.
A few months ago, there was like a thing where it was like the housing commissioner or something. That there was like a big protest, and they didn't think about what they were saying, and they let people to go home.
Wow.
It was really silly.
Good lord. It's crazy how there's a lot of houses there, and yet, you know, not people in them because you're charging so much. It's sad. It really is. If anything, I wish LA just embraced that it was kind of trashy, because that would probably add to enjoyment for it then. That it's not pretending it's something hoity-toity, that it's just willing to accept. No, like, most of this is like covered in dirt, there's dirt in the air. No, we know. I remember we went to Hollywood and there were these billboards all around that were saying things like, "You really made it!" It was just weird, like, empty compliments towards itself, and it's like, that's kind of odd. You paid for those? You put those up to like remind people to remind everyone who's on the street right now miserable that they can look up at them and go, oh, but I'm here at least. At least it's Hollywood, right? I remember too when we saw that billboard, that was when the guy threw the beer bottle at the person and was screaming at them and then stormed off into the strip club in front of us.
I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
remember? The beer was even like spinning around because it was foaming.
Wow. I forgot that happened. It's so crazy when you see something happen in real life that it's like, was this a cartoon joke? Was that a Simpsons?
No, no. Remember, it was like 1 year in LA felt like 10 years off of my life. Every day something crazy happened. We talked about it all the time when we were living out there. That's like, yeah, there's always something that's gonna happen. One day, you had the thing happen with the Uber that you were trying to get in. The guy was just going to drive off with you dangling out of the car, and he just looked back and laughed. The next day, Chris is at the 7-Eleven, and there's a car that just plowed through the window and almost hit him. It was like non-stop chaos. Then a week after that, we get to be pulled over by a cop in an Uber, and then he's pointing at us and trying to get us to speak for him. Then the week after that, you get to have a guy that refuses to take you to your home because he's recording YouTube content and he wants you to be a part of his YouTube channel. Thing is, I doubt it's like as intense as that. I feel like there's got to be some self-awareness that's been developed.
And bear in mind, these are all Uber stories.
Yes, a lot of these are Uber stories. Well, not the 7-Eleven one. That just happened. I kind of miss it. I kind of miss having, like, those Uber rides. Even if they were scary sometimes, there was something a little bit interesting about it, getting to see so many different perspectives. A lot of them very unhinged, but still. You always would have the driver go, yeah, so did you hear about this in the news? Yeah, they've been talking about it a lot. They're trying to, like, install these 4G towers, and they're, like, infecting children's brains with, like, nanomachines, and they're, like, trying to make super soldiers for the future. Oh, you haven't heard about that? Yeah, it's going on, right? Right? Hello? Hello?
You weren't there for it, but there was another Uber ride where the driver was trying to convince about the government controlling the weather.
They really like to do that. They're like, ah, yes, this is my chance to have a soapbox.
Yeah.
Hey, you like it when your taxi driver, like, pushes really uncomfortable things on you that don't make any sense, right? No? Okay, I think that means yes. Well, anyways, so I was browsing the Facebook and I saw an image of like a minion, and did you hear that they're like turning kids into minions? It's true, that's why they make so many memes about them. You probably haven't heard about it, but like, yeah, kids are like turning into minions now. That's why so many people want to go see the movie, you know? And it's called Despicable Me. Like, it's about evil. Like, it's right there in the title. How'd nobody ever see that? Hello? No, they don't say hello. That's the thing. They're just going. They're on cruise control. They're talking to themselves. That's all that matters. Because usually it is what happens. You don't have to say anything. They'll just keep going. That's not Ray Romano at all. Is that what Ray Romano sounds like?
There's too much accent.
Yeah.
I can see why the nasally, but
Yeah.
that's really only it.
No. Ray Romano go, okay, so hey, let me tell you about my kids. They've been going to school and talking about this Friday night fucking, and I think they're getting, like, pulled in by, like, this weird death cult. I think Ray Romano talks about that, right? Death cults. I went to the McDonald's with my wife, and I asked for a cheeseburger and fries, and they said I need to join a death cult. I don't know. You know, my one kid, she's on the soccer team, but then they're trying to get her to join a death cult. I told them, I'm already in 5 other death cults. How many do I have to join for my family? You know? Don't you hate it when you have to join a death cult for your family? This new material doesn't seem to be working.
Anyway, I'd like to talk to you about it.
Anyways, they're accepting donations down the street. No, Ray Romano usually talks about his family and his kids. That's what his bit is. I never watched a lot of it, but he would pop up in Dr. Katz a lot. That's our Ray. That's me. I sound weird. I look kind of odd. I have kids.
You are drifting into
That's true.
because you're adding the warble.
The thing is, it's
Ray
a
Romano doesn't warble.
Yeah, he does when you strangle him. The problem is, I don't think anybody heard that. I think they heard my comment, but probably not your end, but I was responding to you. Someone said, imagine a Julian and Ding Dong sitcom. That's what Gus and Wally probably would have just been. I feel like it wouldn't have been too far off.
I would say it's too egotistical to compare yourself to a cartoon character. But it's too accurate for me. Like, I have to admit.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gus and Wally are like 2 of the strongest gay characters I've ever seen in a piece of media, and that was fucking 1999, and they like hit it right on the head. I was sad they didn't go through with the Muppet idea. That it was going to be the like, old gay couple. It sounded like it'd be entertaining, that they would be, like, sassy to each other all the time. What most cartoon duos already kind of boil down to anyways. But everyone always has to ask it, is fucking...
Well,
is Ren and Stimpy gay?
Which one is the straight man?
I guess that's the point. Yeah. I guess that's why it happened, huh? Because people took that literally. Like Chris Bohr taking hungry spirits literally, and then he tries to feed peanut butter to a ghost. Well, wait, I heard you need a straight man in comedy. Well, this isn't right at all! Oh, that's what that phrase means. Okay. So when everyone was telling me that my act was really gay, that wasn't because they were happy? Man, I got a lot to learn. Oh god. Oh god! Ah! 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 Buildings! Ah! My weight! My weight's rapidly decreasing! Ah! Oh, okay, it's over. Someone said Jesus Ding Dong. I'm not Jesus, don't say that. Yeah, exactly. I said Jesus Ding Dong. Hey, why are we in trouble now? It ended Ringo Starr's career. He had to be in the Powerpuff Girls. No, if anything, it's because it's a sad thing that that's how people act. Living in this town has been something else for that. I sure got to learn a lot about that. I was happy though. We did walk past a house that had a thing in front that was like very like open-minded, just saying like here in this household, you know, we accept everybody. Typically, I'm not used to seeing that. But don't worry, if that as a joke seems like, wow, that was a pretty intense one. No, it's coming from somewhere. I've been seeing plenty of that, don't worry. It's why with Gus and Wally that we were just talking about them being accurate as characters, I think of the bit that it's the flashback of them frolicking through the field of flowers happy together, and then a bunch of people are chasing after them angrily. That's just what people are like, and it sucks. But that's why you gotta, you know, you gotta power through that. Yeah, you can. The little golf holes here you jump out of.
I always wondered why they were there. I always thought they were just like, this is like a weird obstacle.
Yeah. The thing to know, though, is a lot of people who do make jokes like that, they're not joking. Oh no, which power-up do I have? Do they stack? Do they freaking stack? I don't know. I need another red crate. Everything's on fire. Your mom comes in the room. What's going on? You said everything's on fire? What? Mom, shut up! I'm playing a game! I can't right now! Oh, I can't! I'm playing Kirby! Can't you do it yourself? Okay, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. You can keep playing Kirby. I'm holding my breath. I'm gonna start flying like Kirby.
What was our threat? There's a kid in the corner.
There's a kid in the corner going whoop whoop. Please come down,
No,
honey.
honey, no!
Honey, please come down. You're turning blue.
He's going faster.
You need to talk to your son. He's floating in the corner right now. You come in 5 minutes later and both of them are floating in the corner.
Hold breath to become Ice Kirby.
These games are impressionable, I'm telling you. This thing he's using right now? Yeah, my kid used that on me last week. It wasn't very fun. Oh, 10 items in the first 20 seconds. I didn't know that was a thing. You think warp stars are fun? What do you think it feels like when you get one plowed through your fucking car by your kid? Yeah, not very fun anymore, is it? Not very fun anymore, is it? By the way, I'm still waiting here. People's response to some of these jokes, I'm wondering, like, oh man, this is what it's like on Twitch. Like, it doesn't matter over there. I do wonder, like, how much of this is going to be, like, YouTube getting mad about a thing I wouldn't have even predicted. That Kirby joke you made was really pushing it. Kids should not be levitating in the corner of the room. I'm sorry, YouTube. I won't get these ideas into people's heads again. Kids, please remember when watching the stream, you can't levitate like Kirby by holding your breath. It's not real. This is a video game. But the Kirby that you've seen at conventions, like the giant costume that they're wearing, that is real. That is the real Kirby. He is real. And you'd make him really sad if you didn't buy his new games. He will cry if you don't purchase his new titles. I really, really, really want to get this Dragoon, but I'm just not having good luck. Some stuff I'd really like to stream over here, but I think YouTube would be too stingy. That's the stuff that we would have to save for Twitch. For example, Pokemon Live got new footage. They have much clearer presentation now. It's an official upload. It's the original, like, first showing of Pokemon Live. And that'd be great to stream, except I feel like YouTube would get mad about it. Twitch wouldn't care, but I think YouTube would get mad about it. But I don't know, maybe that's what this will be. I'll just keep making, like, experimental streams until I get banned from the platform. And then I go, whoops. Oh, there we go. Snapped out of that one. Speaking of being a bad, influence for children, Weird Al show, it's pretty wild how much he abuses Harvey the Wonder Hamster. I was gonna call him Wendy for some reason. Wendy the Wendy Hamster. Harvey the Wonder Hamster. Really that his whole bit is that he is literally just a hamster that he's throwing at walls.
I really like the elbow check.
Yeah, I like that they had to show that as a shot. Macho Man Randy Savage challenges Weird Al to a fight. So Weird Al puts his little tiny pet hamster in to fight him instead. And there's just this open shot of Macho Man just arm dropping onto the tiny little hamster before the camera cuts. They do it a lot. They abuse that little hamster like crazy. Obviously, they're not really doing it, but it's funny that they put that in there for something that was supposed to be a kid's show with, like, lessons. But I don't know. Like I said, I'll learn what is YouTubeable here. Once again, I still haven't read my sponsorship of the stream. This stream is sponsored by...
Kirby.
Oh, by Kirby.
Kirby.
Kirby! Get the name right. You would not believe how mad it makes me when people get the name of this game incorrect. It's Kirby Air Ride. Kirby's Air Ride? Does that make sense to you? Oh, like it's his video game, like this is his franchise and it's an installment of his franchise? No, it's Kirby Air Ride, as in Kirby and then there's an air ride? Or that you're telling your friend like, hey, I'll be right back, going for a Kirby Air Ride. Even the logo for the game looks kind of weird. That's when they were starting to use that stock Kirby logo. Which, I'm not a fan of the Kirby logo. I think it's okay, but I don't think it needs to be as overused as it is. I prefer when they come up with, like, a new stylish logo per entry. I'm actually kind of sad about Pokemon with that. The Pokemon logo is pretty odd to look at now, I think. It's very reminiscent of the time period. But what's so odd about that to me too is Pokemon, the Japanese games, they get pretty stylish logos. They do a really cool looking logo design for like new installments for the series. And while they can still look alright, the English logos, still having the goofy blue and yellow Pokemon text, it's always a little jarring to look at. I don't mind it too much. In fact, I kind of appreciate it for how goofy it looks anyways. But I do like when you can have unique logos for games. Or the time period we had where logos for games were super fucking complicated and names for games were like 40 paragraphs long. And you had like chains and like swords coming out of the logo. But I do like that. That's the thing. I do miss that. You couldn't read what it said in some cases. It was just cool looking like graphic design, but at least it stuck with you. You remembered it. It's a little bit sad seeing a lot of logos getting reduced into just plain text. I get it. It's because it's readable. It's like bare minimum graphic design. But I like stylization. I like variety. I like Kirby Air Ride. That item's fake! Also, there's no Dragoon this game, I just realized. Another game without the Dragoon? Ooh! No wonder this got bad reviews. Clearly that was the issue. Similar, if I was playing God Hand right now and I got hit one time, I go, ooh! That's why I got bad reviews. Now it makes sense to me. Wonder how that, once again, how often that happens with people. When I was younger, I feel like I do remember people doing that kind of thing. That was like, now I get why people don't like this. And it's like, what? You're getting mad because you like, dropped the controller. You got angry because you're stretching your thumb across the N64 gamepad because you didn't know how to hold it. Well, hold up here. Like, I don't think this has anything to do with any of that. Because I knew a lot of people that would put down games when I was younger because they go, it's cheap. This game's just cheap. I'm not going to play a game that's cheap. And not cheap in the sense of it's cheap. Oh, video games are cheap. But cheap in the sense of, you know, that's what people use as their, like, go-to. Like, people complaining about button mashing, and then it's like, well, then why are you losing? If they're mindlessly tapping buttons, then why are you losing? And then the kid from Mission Hill comes in and goes, he's playing too erratically!
Because he's bad at it and it throws him off.
Mission Hill was pretty on point with their nerd culture. They understood it pretty well. Although nothing's gonna top Eltingville. I'm sad.
I'm sad that it didn't get me.
Yeah.
I think it would have been consistently funny.
I think it would have been consistently funny, and even with that pilot, it's not animated poorly either. Yeah. It's fun to look at. It got adapted pretty well. The drawings aren't as grotesque as the comics or anything, but still, it's pretty solid. I wish it went through. We need more things making fun of nerd culture.
Ask Peter Christoph which episode of Republic Vampires because I keep wanting to pull it up, but I can't remember.
What, the Republican Vampire?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That's when Andy obviously goes out on his own because he says he doesn't need everybody else, so I'm trying to remember what got him there. Why he ran into the Republican Vampire. The problem was they were going to definitely overuse him later if the show kept running. I think he's a good one-time gag. He's a funny idea for a character. He's in the background when they're all singing at the end of the one episode. I think that's okay.
I remember that part.
Although, who knows? The penis guy I figured would only be funny one time. But then
They made him work.
they made him work a second time around. That's what I guess I would have figured, because yeah, that's when he probably frustrated everybody else. So that's why he had to go find new friends to hang out with. The real world episode.
Mark, tell us it's no contest.
What'd they say?
They said you shouldn't tell each other about the critic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The critic is really weird to me because it wants to be highbrow when it's like the total opposite of it.
It's the Frasier effect.
As
It's ostensibly intellectual, but
it's the Guilty Gear Strive effect. You say that the game's been simplified, even though you're still doing quarter circles and half circles. Okay. I still like things about the critic, but that is the thing with it. It's not a show I could watch repeatedly. I'd have to like give it time in between. There are some really funny bits in it, and then they usually get padded out by a lot of the same like easy fat joke. And whatever, maybe in doses, but man, when it's like your entire catalog of humor, it's just Jay Sherman walking and someone goes, "Oh my god, a pig! I'm a man! There's a manatee washed up on shore. I'm a man! Woo, a sandwich!" And then plays like the Pac-Man music. It's like, okay, I get it. You gotta have a little more than that. That's why the highbrow thing, it's like, it's weird, this is the setting and this is what you want to make fun of cinema for doing, that it's making people dumber when your humor is about as lowbrow as the cinema you're making fun of. That's what's so odd about it to me. I never quite understood why that is what the critic is as a show. The critic was never gonna catch on as the thing. It's way too specific of a premise. But I liked it a lot when I was younger, and going back to it, there's still gags and stuff I like. I kind of like that in Season 2 they were doing more with, like, swooped designs, because they're trying to imitate, like, old caricatures and everything. But, yeah, it is weird, the reputation Critic has as a show. It's not like it was high-grade material. It didn't last very long, either. That wasn't necessarily an unfair cancel. I mean, they were trying to push it pretty hard, too. That's why we had the Simpsons crossover episode. They were trying to promote it. They were trying their best to, like, get it out there. People were aware of it. I just even remember at the time as a kid, it was similar that anyone I talked to were like, "Oh, that show's, like, garbage." And I don't think it's garbage, obviously, but no, you can do better for sure. The writing is not the strength of the critic. There can be funny bits, but once again, when you're trying to make commentary about like Hollywood and how sleazy it is and like how lowbrow it is, it's kind of awkward when you're about as lowbrow yourself. Let's try this again. Yeah, I like some of the art in the critic and the designs that they had. It's also weird what happened. The second season, that the first season, Jay is spending a lot of time with like his son. There's a lot of focus on his ex. And then the second season, they introduce that like new girlfriend character, and then the son is just kind of gone. He's only there in like 1 or 2 episodes, from what I recall. Kind of weird that like a core bond they were trying to establish. The show felt very experimental, like it didn't even really know what it fully wanted to do with itself. Because it did change so heavily between season 1 and 2 in that kind of way. Let's see. Are we going to get the Dragoon this time? Can we finally do it? Chad, if we get the Dragoon this time, then we've done it. Then we have the Dragoon. Guys, I don't know if we're gonna find the Dragoon. I'm gonna have to stay up all night looking for the Dragoon.
Hi, I'm calling into the Walmart. I know I was supposed to work my shift tonight, but I need to get the Dragoon. I guess this is me quitting over the phone. I'm sorry. It's from a video game? Pretty obscure one, you might not have heard of it. It's called Kirby Air Ride.
Well, there goes my top speed. There was an old ad for that with Nintendo. That it was a kid working a shitty minimum wage job at like a fast food place. His manager's trying to like encourage him like, oh, you're really moving up the ranks. You know, you're a part of a family here. And after he hands him his check, he just goes, I quit. And it's just because he took the job to buy a Nintendo 64. That was the only reason he did it. And it's a goofy ad for that, and it's like, I would hope nobody would do something like that. Because you're probably going to make things a little rough for yourself, because it's such a process anyways to get a job. But I do wonder, if anyone's ended up in a spot like that, where it's like, I seriously don't even need like a home here, I just want a fucking video game console, and I will quit my job the second I get a video game console. Teens in high school, probably. I mean, I had a job at Best Buy when I was younger. I knew a lot of people that were doing that, too. It wasn't fun. But that was also, like, part-time. That wasn't, like, you know, job. That is what the ad is, though. It is just a part-timer, so it makes enough sense. But I wonder if it's happened with an adult, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. Has there been somebody, like, age 60 who had to call into their job to quit because they're playing Kirby Air Ride?
If you're 60, probably, because then you're going to be retired.
I guess that's true. Well, what if you're like the guy from Good Burger, you're Abe Vigoda, that you've been there for like 90 years of your life, and you're on life support, and this is the only thing you have?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I mean. Like, you're like, oh, I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to go play video games.
I guess that's true. It'd be interesting to hear about. I'm sure there's a newspaper headline somewhere, and then you read the article, it has nothing to do with the headline. Well, actually, he didn't quit his job. Oh. Did I just land on Wispy Woods?
Oh, yeah, you did. You did that.
I'm sorry. Oh, God. Run! Still no Dragoon! No Dragoon! Oh! No Dragoon! Oh, I'm so mad! I was watching his stream last night and got so mad. How mad did he get? He got so mad. Come get it. No. Please be a Dragoon. You're the Dragoon. You have to be. You're not! There's no Dragoon! There's no Tooth Fairy. Let's try this again.
I could swear that we've gotten it.
No, we have. It's just, it's random if it's going to even enable those pieces to show up in a game. And then if it does, it might prioritize like Hydra over Dragoon. And that's what's been happening is, I've been getting 2 pieces of Dragoon, but Hydra's been the one I've been able to assemble, and the Dragoon, I'm always missing out on the final piece of it. So hopefully I can get it this one. I'm gonna go for red crates, just exclusively. I need to show you this vehicle! You'll think this game's cool when you see it. I'm not lying. My mom and dad said I'm wasting time playing this, and I keep trying to tell them that there's cool stuff in it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Good luck, Worma. I'll be back soon.
Oh, hi, Worma.
Yeah, he's been here.
Well, whoa, careful, careful. Yep. I am sad about that one, though, what we were just talking about earlier with Mission Hill. Mission Hill's great. It's a very good show. And Gus and Wally, it's a tragedy. The Warner Brothers situation got it killed. And anything they're going to proceed to do with Mission Hill has nothing to do with the original team, obviously. Like, if they pop up in multiverses for whatever reason, which I don't think they would. I don't think Mission Hill is really too relevant with current generations or anything, but I think it's a really good show, and I think it still holds up. But Gus and Wally specifically, they are, like, two of the most entertaining characters in the show. They are very well-written characters for a gay couple. They're really well done. And it was already a thing that it was one of the first gay animated kisses, I think, in a TV show. It was 1999. And yeah, it's just done really well, the two of them. They were going to get a spin-off show. That's what they were doing recently. And it got canceled, which is too bad. It sounded like it would have been a lot of fun. I would have loved to have just had more Mission Hill, and if it's specifically about Gus and Wally, I think it would have made for an entertaining series. Nope, we didn't get that. We didn't get a lot of stuff because of what's kind of going on right now at Warner Brothers, but it's okay. As long as Big Chungus makes his way into multiverses, I'm happy. At the end of the day, once Pickle Rick is there, everything will be alright. Morty, I know you're sad about all the shows, the shows. I know you're sad about the shows getting canceled, but Morty, I'm a pickle. I'm a pickle. Oh, gee, Rick, but they're canceling like everything, and it's not really fair to any of the creators. I'm a pickle. Look, I'm in a fighting game. It's a Smash clone. I know the team that made Multiverses is at least passionate. It's just too bad that the business side has to impact so much negatively. That it is still Warner Brothers. And you got those microtransactions in there. Boy, do they have them. They're not so micro, are they, actually? Now that I think about it, they're not very micro. Kinda wish they'd stop calling them microtransactions. Maybe just transactions. But in general, that's already seemingly, like, just accepted in games now anyways. There used to be much more protest about that kind of thing. But it seems like people just kind of, like, normalized it and accepted it at this point. But it is sad. It is very sad, the Warner Brothers situation. And it is sad that some of the respect being given to some of those properties is only going to come through a game like that, because the company itself is not going to be giving it. It stinks. It really does. It sucks that business obviously doesn't work too well for creatives. Can you believe that money and art don't always go well together? Whoop. And yet you need money to survive. Ooh, what a rough deal. I will say though, sure we can have some negative talk about current stuff. How about a positive talk? YouTube with that music change, hey! Now there's something. I'm sure there's catches to it. I mean, still have to fulfill some guidelines, but hey, it's cool though. They finally realized, maybe we kind of suck with all the inconveniences we present, and maybe we'd make more money if we didn't do that. Yeah, you probably would. Especially because you're just doing a lot of that to be overly protective in the past. Maybe it's better to just read into things a bit more and know what would be convenient and legal and would be beneficial. I'm glad they're trying that out. From what I've been hearing from people, it's because TikTok, I guess, is putting a fire under their rear end. But at least that's some progress, even if it had to come out of that. I guess somebody potentially offering more convenience is the way to, kickstart somebody into trying. That they go, wait, I have to try? Oh, fuck. But at least, yeah, there's that as a change. And that's a pretty major one, because YouTube's auto-detection system is abysmal. It's one of the worst. So it's cool that they're being more lenient about that kind of thing now, if you're going to be using copywritten music. I don't know what that has to do with streaming over here. I don't know if they're still going to be stingy about that. But it's cool that they're doing that. And while there's plenty of negative I could talk about the Twitch end of things right now, at least the positive I can say is, yeah, partners are allowed to stream on other platforms right now, which is nice. There's a catch, it's the thing I said earlier. While they did now add that as a thing that partners are able to stream on other platforms, it is limited. It is a thing of, you can only stream to one platform at a time. You can't do a simulcast, which is like, I don't know why. It's what I was saying earlier. That doesn't really make sense to me. If anything, isn't that just going to make people then go to another platform or something because you basically severed that tie? I think what they're hoping for is that means you're going to use us first, and you're not going to consider the others. Well, if they're already considering the others, I don't think that's exactly correct. By the way, I didn't get the Dragoon again. Rats. But I'm glad at least some form of convenience got added into YouTube. Things have been such a like royal pain on all of these platforms over the years that it's nice to hear some good news. What I'm hoping it is, and it's not being acknowledged, and maybe Twitch is even going to backpedal on their decision in a few months when they realize it's not good and all their creators are frustrated with them for it, because it's Amazon just wanting money. I'm hoping what they realize through all that is just to go back on this whole thing that they're doing. The cutting how much people are actually getting paid so they can take a bigger cut, all the stuff that they're doing right now. Maybe they'll see that this was such an unpopular move that they'll go back on it. I'd hope so. Because what I'm secretly hoping all of these platforms are going to slowly learn, you're viable because of your creators! You were always viable because of your creators. People weren't using YouTube because they liked watching YouTube Rewind. People weren't using Twitch to go to the official Twitch channel. Yes, it's your platform, but it's also the creators on your platform that partially make your platform. When you're just standing in the way of them every step of the way, you're just getting in their path, trying to make things inconvenient for them. It's frustrating. There should be a bit of a balance there that it's like creators are working together with the platforms. Shouldn't be this thing where it's completely one-sided. It's gonna make people not feel, good about it. Oh, toaster strudels? Those are better than Pop-Tarts! What kind are you making?
I was just gonna make a meal, but
Okay.
the one with the cream.
Yeah, I'll have one.
Okay.
Thank you. I hope you like it. The toaster strudels are really good. I forgot we got toaster strudels. When we did groceries a month back, they were on sale, so I got a bunch. And I forgot how good they are. That was how they always used to advertise them, that they were better than Pop-Tarts. But yeah, no, they are. They're very good. The Pillsbury toaster strudels are actually really tasty. Because Pop-Tarts are nothing. Pop-Tarts aren't, like, amazing or anything. You can have them. The thing is, I'm not the kind of person to fight against, like, junk food. It has its purpose. It's like the kind of people that it's like, how could you eat Little Caesars? It's a pizza for $5. I have no problems with that. I'm not expecting gourmet here. And that's why with Pop-Tarts, it's like, yeah, I'm not expecting anything too amazing, but man, toaster strudels are really good for the price point that they're at and everything, too. Obviously, more goes into preparing them, but oh, it's worth it. They're very tasty. Although the icing never looks anything like what you're going to see in the ads, obviously. You're not going to draw little stripes on there. It's just going to melt into the pastry itself. Oh, I dropped all my stuff. I forget what makes that happen, but when you switch vehicles to another vehicle that has like different stats, depending on that, it can reject abilities and you have to collect them again. Oh, there's all my health back. Okay, now where's the Dragoon? You're red. You gotta have it. Hey! Okay, that's one. We need just a few more. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So because there's one piece, you can see that it will spawn.
The one piece?
You won't get a game where it'll only give you one of them.
Oh, you mean... Actually,
The
no.
Dragoon piece.
No, it might not spawn another one. But that would just come from, like, really bad luck is what it would be. But there is, like, yes, I should be able to get it now. But there's a good chance that the randomness maybe will not spit out more pieces. For example, if I broke 50 boxes right now, but the RNG was just bad, then I might not find another piece. And there was nothing I could have done about it. It was just bad luck. But yes, they're active now. The Dragoon is active. It's just I need to be able to find the pieces, and if I get bad luck, I won't. Which so far, not very good luck. But we'll see. That's at least how it seems to work. I don't know, there's like a technical breakdown of this game. I don't know, are people doing like TASs for City Trial? We did talk about it earlier, I wonder. It's cool how many games have been just like explored inside and out now thanks to like speedrunning communities. I was really happy to find out that recently it is odd. A lot of the House of the Dead 1 stuff I've been finding is only from like the past 2 or 3 years that people have been making so many breakthroughs with it as a game. There was a TAS that taught people a lot about how the scoring system in it was functioning. People have learned a lot about games through TASs and watching speedruns. Even on my own end, like developing games, you learn a lot. Little things that you never really knew why they worked the way they did in a game. Speedruns have been helping people even get an understanding about it. It's like, oh yeah, here's an invisible system you probably didn't even know about in this game. House of the Dead, I just brought that up as an example. That has it. The difficulty. The difficulty in House of the Dead is gradually increasing as you play it, and you probably didn't even notice it because it's so subtle. Because what is its difficulty? What does that even equate to? Well, in House of the Dead 1, that equates to body shots. That it takes more body shots to kill a zombie the longer you've been playing for. If you take a hit, that number goes down, so that your difficulty gets easier if you're taking damage or continuing. But it only impacts the body shots, so headshots are always still, you know, high damage. So it doesn't impact the game that much. It only really impacts it for people who are not very good at it. But, yeah, that's a thing. That's in there. A lot of games have systems like that. I mean, it was a big deal, Resident Evil doing its difficulty the way it did. That was based on how skillful you were as a player, that it would change. Layouts of rooms could be changed. Spawns for enemies could be changed. Difficulty systems like that are pretty nice. But I'm glad we got to have a community like that really just deep diving into games. I think it's helped a lot for, once again, not just understanding these games better and getting even more out of them, but people who are making games learning a lot, understanding why games function the way they do. I'm gonna try this again. We need that Dragoon! Why is this so hard? Is it because I'm making conversation, not paying attention to the game? It could be. Not that I need to pay much attention. It's Kirby's Air Ride. I just said Kirby's. Ugh.
It's hard, isn't it?
Kirby Air Ride, sorry.
It's because it
What came
makes
over
more
me?
logical sense.
I know! I mean, that's why I made it into a joke here. I don't get why it's called Kirby Air Ride. It should be Kirby's. That's why I asked earlier, isn't it Kirby's Tilt and Tumble, not Kirby Tilt and Tumble?
Well, Kirby Tilt and Tumble makes a little more sense because he's literally.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
tilting and tumbling.
Kirby is tilting and tumbling. I guess you could say Kirby is air riding, but it's like, it's called Kirby Air Ride. Like, say that as a sentence. Like, just say that very quickly.
Exactly,
Kirby Air Ride.
that's the thing. Kirby Tilt and Tumble makes sense because Kirby is tilting and tumbling. Kirby Air Ride implies that Kirby is the air ride. Do you understand what I mean?
Are you saying he isn't?
No, he's on one. Or he participates in one. Either way, whatever air ride.
I'm pretty sure Kirby is an air ride. I've ridden on him before.
In the air.
In the air. They should make a new air ride, and here's ideas for new vehicles. Those electric scooters that everybody throws onto the sides of roads. That could be a new vehicle. In fact, that should be the only vehicle. There's so many of them out there right now. There are so many of them that got chucked into landfills right now. We should have a whole Nintendo game about them. And then they can sell those as amiibos. How to reinvigorate a marketplace. Just repurpose a product. Man, we got a lot of cardboard boxes, but we're just not selling. Hey, my name is Shigeru Miyamoto. Don't worry. We have a plan at Nintendo for these cardboard boxes. You guys are selling them for $20. What if you sold them for $120? How could we do that? Just wait. And then we got Labo. I'm pretty sure that's how it played out. Labo's interesting. The thing that actually bugs me the most about it is that Nintendo kind of dropped most of their support for it. It seemed like they really wanted to push it like it was going to lead into a lot, and they didn't do too much with it. It was also a little vague to people. The initial like demo stuff at E3 made it seem a little more exciting conceptually. Although for some reason the Wii Vitality sensor didn't. Excuse me? How did people not get excited for that when they saw it at E3? Wasn't that the most thrilling thing ever? that a game was detecting someone's heart rate? Listen, when you use Wii Connect 24 with your Wii Vitality sensor, Nintendo 24 hours a day knows if you're alive or not. When you die, they can come to your home. The two guys can show up at your door and say, "We would like to warn you, something bad has happened. Your child might be in danger." Oh, thank goodness for the Wii Vitality sensor. Without that and Wii Connect 24, we wouldn't have known that our child was in danger. We wouldn't have known. The Vitality sensor is basically just a baby monitor. Nintendo's monitoring your children if they're alive or not. Uh-oh. 32 kids died playing Mario Kart last night.
Nintendo-related deaths are actually a lot more common.
Maybe that's why they canceled it. They were starting to realize that there is a correlation between this and video games. Holy shit. 3,000 kids died from Animal Crossing yesterday? We can't let this product get out there. We can't let people know this stuff. These games are genuinely dangerous? Yeah, they saw Mr. Rossetti and got scared and their hearts started racing. They just had a heart attack. We gotta make him less mean. You thought that stuff was about seizures. No, it was because they used the Vitality sensor. These games were killing people. They were having heart attacks. Mr. Rossetti was terrifying children. You know how you can get a shock death and ill-bleed? It's like that. You have a fucking heart attack on the spot instantaneously. You're dead. That mole was scary. He would say mean things loudly in a language I didn't understand.
In all caps.
In a fictional language I didn't understand. Nintendo, you have to change this. Nah, that one wasn't going too well for a Dragoon. Mr. Miyamoto, we did a study with the Wii Vitality sensor. It seems like all of your video games have actually been responsible for the deaths of children on a daily basis. It's only yours. Like, in fact, for example, we looked at some other games. We looked at, like, you know, ones that were worked on by third parties. You were there who founded the franchise. Like, you were the one who kicked off the original game, but new people are working on it. And yeah, no deaths. It's only your games, Mr. Miyamoto. What's going on? We're not releasing it. What? We're not releasing the Vitality sensor. Huh. Why do you think Mr. Miyamoto was acting so weird about the Wii Vitality sensor? The Nintendo Halloween special? Oh, if only. If it was still the days of Reggie and, like, Iwata, we probably would have had stuff like that. For, like, Luigi's Mansion or something, you would have had them all in, like, a haunted house together. That Reggie's going, I don't know, guys, I'm pretty scared here. I just want to go home and play Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS. And Iwata would, like, pull him by the ear and try to take him through the hallway. He goes, ow, 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 no, no, no! Iwata, it's scary in here! He held up a banana. But then Miyamoto, for some reason, is like the one taking twisted pleasure in everything that's playing out. His smile just keeps getting bigger the deeper into the house that they get. And then eventually, they see Miyamoto standing... Yeah, and Miyamoto's standing in a... Oh, I was going to say Miyamoto's standing in a corner and they don't know what's going on. His head's looking down. It's Reggie's perspective with a camera with like snot dribbling out of his nose going, My body wasn't ready for this. I don't know what we've gotten into, everybody. What's that sound? You hear Toad in the back going, hello! Why not? Why didn't we get a Nintendo Halloween special? That would have been great. The thing is, too, you know, saying all this, it really wouldn't have been that out there back at the time. Nintendo was doing some really fun PR when it was Reggie and Iwata and Miyamoto, the three of them doing a lot of that stuff together. It's a shame you don't get to see much of that anymore. Who's Doug Bowser? I don't even know. Bowser's more interesting than Doug Bowser. I mean, that's no questions there. I think everybody knows that one, but still, I don't know much about Doug Bowser. I think I know more about Donald Mustard than I know about Doug Bowser. And that's just because the guy's name is Donald Mustard. But you know what? Maybe he'll grow up to become Colonel Mustard. You never know. Everybody working on Fortnite, they all actually have clue names, and they didn't realize it until later on. Wait a second, your name is Plum. You're right, and yours is Mustard. Wait, what's going on here?
Why are all the doors locked?
Okay, this time, for real. I think we're getting the Dragoon. I think this is the one. I know this is attempt number 5 billion, but I think this is the one. Maybe not. There's no red crates in here. We'll find one, we'll find one. Oh, we'll find a red crate. They're not that hard to find, are they? I actually haven't been seeing them, have I? I haven't been running across them in this round too often, have I? Maybe they are hard to find. Maybe there is no Dragoon. Maybe there's no Kirby. Maybe there's no Nintendo. Maybe there's no God. Or even worse, maybe there's no Nintendo. Maybe there's no Mario! No, calm down. Oh, there's definitely a new Mario movie in production. There is a Mario. We just haven't seen any images of him yet. I'm sure what we do. I wonder. It was interesting. I was going through my image folder and I found an old image where I made a fake Kotaku post that it was them saying controversial weed joke in the new Mario movie. That was like 7 years ago. I had to realize, god damn, it was 7 years ago that Nintendo said that that movie was like just about to be finished. But you know what? They said that about Pikmin, didn't they? It had been 7 years since Miyamoto said that Pikmin 4 was already basically done. And then we finally got it announced when people realized it was 7 years later and they made fun of it. You don't think, do you? Do you think Nintendo ever sees that stuff? That they do just directly respond? 3D Collection, I'm a little suspicious. I mean, AM2R, and then we got a Metroid 2 remake later. I mean, the Mario Royale thing.
I think that's the most famous.
Yeah. But I don't know. What, Miyamoto's on Twitter? They're making fun of me? Listen, when I said that 7 years ago about Pikmin 4 already being done. I really doubted on that one. But who knows? Crazier things have happened. I would be thrilled, honestly. I would be thrilled if there was acknowledgement that actually everybody from Nintendo is constantly reading social media and just becoming livid, and that's why they spite their audience so much. It'd be entertaining to find that out, at least. And then maybe I would go, oh, that explains it a bit more. It's still bad, but at least it explains it a bit more. I kid. I don't really think Miyamoto looks at the Twitter. I don't think he's looked at anything. I think he just sits in a room, and they sometimes wheel him out to have at conventions or something. He's like a prop. No. I kid about that too. He's clearly a person. I've seen him move. But then again, I also saw Abraham Lincoln at Disney, and I had to find out later that wasn't real. Miyamoto was trying to sell me churros. Maybe that wasn't Miyamoto. Now that I think about it, he was wearing a really tall hat. Maybe that was just Abraham Lincoln again. I usually get Shigeru Miyamoto and Abraham Lincoln mixed up. They're pretty similar personality-wise.
Come on. That's not what I wanted. That's a bomb.
It's too bad. Once the Mario movie drops, no one's gonna associate that voice with Mario ever again. Everyone will be thinking Chris Pratt.
The second that he had Luigi call him like one name, they knew they had to take
I know. It's true. They just went, nope, you do not get to be Mario in this movie. But you still use my voice clips in all the games. Yeah, we do.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do about it? Here, you get a cameo. You get to stand next to Chris Pratt. You get to be in Chris Pratt's armpit. You get to be in his arm Pratt. Coach Z saying it. Coach Z should be voicing Mario in the movie. No, you'd be Luigi.
Yeah.
He could probably be an entertaining one. Listen, when I see people type, well, fuck you, Luigi, I never think of the actual audio clip. I just read it out loud in my brain, and I go, well, fuck you, Luigi. And it's like, huh. I wonder why they're saying that. Oh, right, they're referencing the scene. Because that's not how he says it in the scene, obviously. But when you see it as text, it's not quite the same. You really do need to hear Mario saying it, because he obviously said it. We all understand that was clearly the line that he said. It's funny because he does look so pissed when he does it. His eyes are like getting huge.
Doesn't he like bounce a little bit?
Yes,
like
he does.
Kind of does like.
Yes.
The like come at me pose.
Or more so, oh, you want to talk, dipshit?
Yeah.
Neatness counts, huh? I got your neatness for you right here! Let me at him! Let me at him!
Captain Lou's losing it!
Cut the film! Cut the film!
No, his wrestler instincts are kicking in.
Let me tell you all about the origin of music! It all started with dinosaur bones rattling!
No one's gonna get that. Who fucking heard the WrestleMania album? It's the funniest song on it, though. Captain Lou's History of Music. I like that better. I like why fuck you, Luigi. Like it's a dignified statement. Why fuck you, Luigi? Rude. Man, why am I getting such rancid luck with these? You are the Dragoon! No, you're not! He was yelling in the mic. Okay, guys, place bets in the chat. And whoever is the winner, you
win.
You win. Enter the contest to win the contest. And everyone's excited. No one's even asking, what's the prize? Well, I want to enter the contest. How many times do you think it's going to take for me to find the Dragoon piece here? It's taking longer than I thought. I didn't realize like how infrequent it was.
Folks are saying there's specific locations.
Oh, really? I thought it was RNG
I
based.
wouldn't know which ones.
So there's specific locations? Really? You're sure?
I'm just saying, chat.
Oh,
saying
okay.
Chat is wrong a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah, but that was on Twitch. We're on YouTube now.
Oh,
I think that changes a lot. People don't leave misinformative comments on YouTube. Do they? I mean, they got rid of all the children from the comment section, so clearly the adults left are going to be rational, right?
Where says the castle, volcano, and woods.
I guess I'll go C. So is that just dependent on the red box spawning in that location and it has a chance, or is it guaranteed? I mean, here's a red box in the woods. Let's see. Is this a dragoon piece? No, it's not. It's a tornado. Do they just have increased odds in these locations or something? Or is this kind of like that House of the Dead thing I read, where nobody has documented this game hard enough, so somebody got the Dragoon and then tried to correlate it to what they did in-game, and assumed it had to do with the locations they were in. Kind of like how a cat starts pissing everywhere when it gets sick, because it thinks that the location has been peeing in is the reason that it's hurt. So it's going to start peeing everywhere else. That's me exaggerating this. I'm being jokey, obviously. I'm curious how it works, though. Because, yeah, I've never read into like anything about how Air Ride is actually programmed. I wasn't sure if people have ever broken it apart. I would assume so. Air Ride's a fun game, and people do like it a lot. It's not, like, super well known, I guess, but people who know it know
Irma
it.
says the boxes that should have them, they don't bounce and they don't despawn.
Okay, that's at least a good visual sign, but that makes it sound like it is random, and it may not be even location-driven. It's nice that there's a good visual tell for that, though, that they don't bounce. Because, yeah, I'm in the woods right now. I could go down the hole, maybe.
People have kept saying under Wispy Woods. I don't even know what that means.
Right here, there's a hole. But I've gone down here, and sometimes it's not. That's why I was saying, is it just increased odds here, or are we just going with this as, I guess, like the narrative? I don't know. I would assume that some locations are going to be better for it, because red crates do spawn in a few set locations, I've noticed. Not like set locations, it's kind of broad where they can spawn in those designated areas. But the woods, for example, oh yeah, boxes spawn over here all the time, because it's a pretty broad area. This is like...
Werma says yes, just increased odds.
Oh, just increased odds, okay. Because yeah, the way it was sounding initially was like, oh, it's preset. You just go here and they are always there.
Some people did literally say it's the same locations every time, and both of them can't be true.
Yeah, obviously both of those statements can't be true. I don't personally care myself, I'm just having fun playing. But if anyone like wants to obviously like figure out what's going on, I'm sure you guys would want like an actual answer. But guessing games with chats and streams don't tend to go well from what I've noticed. Maybe somebody can like look it up or something. But once again, I don't know. Maybe that's even one of those situations. The thing I'm talking about is, because people probably weren't there for it, I was streaming House of the Dead 2, and one of the things I was trying to unlock, I read multiple guides, and they're on every website, how to unlock the Rogan outfit at the end of the game, and they all say different things. One of them said you need over 1,000,000 points, which I think you moved the comma to the wrong spot. I don't think you meant that.
I think it was 10 million and it was supposed to be 10,000.
It was supposed to be 100,000.
Something like that.
Yeah. Then they said something about you need to let a specific person die to get it. No, you don't. I found that out while playing. No, you don't. So almost every website with it listed had just the complete wrong way of doing it. That, yes, it would work. If you played out like what they were saying on most of those pages, you still would unlock him. But it wasn't for those reasons. It's the same thing with the Mega Man cheat. I used to talk about that one a lot. The Mega Man one was so elaborate, the Mega Man X cheat, that people assumed it was just a rumor that kids made up on the playground. It didn't sound real at all. But it was. The problem was, kids kind of did make it up a little bit on the playground. Some kids said you're not allowed to take a single death to do it. Some kids said you had to die at the end of the stage over and over again to get it. Some kids would make up rumors that you had to have full energy tanks, everything, if you're going to unlock the Hadouken at the end of the game. And the truth is, no, none of that. You need to have everything. and then you have to get to the end of the stage a few times. That's it. No, you don't have to kill yourself repeatedly. In fact, if you don't have everything yet, I feel like... No, it's if you do have everything, but you haven't played that stage yet, you do get that counted towards it as well. It's a little more, like, focused than what people thought it was. But back at the time, when you don't have the internet, people can't decompile code, you don't have ways to figure this stuff out, that's what people just assumed. Everyone was trying to come up with, like, how to reproduce it. Well, I think it was something about, like, I didn't die and I kept running to the end of the stage, so it's about not dying. No, that had nothing to do with it. I think it means you have to have full health. No, that had nothing to do with it. And that's why I was saying the Rogan thing. The Rogan outfit, the way you unlock it is just having 100,000 points, I think, and playing on original mode. And then also not saving everybody, although I don't know if that part's true. I didn't test that one in my playthroughs. I could go test it. But it didn't matter about who died, and you didn't need to save everybody. There is a secret room if you save everybody and you do certain stuff, so it might be that that's why you kill someone in your playthrough, and why a guide would say you have to kill a specific person, but that's not how you do it. But that's why with this, I wonder if this is a case of that. Kind of like rumors spreading around about it, but it's not necessarily a confirmed thing. But I could also believe it that it is more confirmed because people have figured out tons of exploits in this game. I've seen people do wacky stuff. I don't know where you probably have to look up the speedrunning community, if anything, if there is a speedrunning community, because they would be the ones to know about like every exploit in this game and how stuff works. If you ever need information like that, don't just go to a cheat code website or something. Don't go to GameFAQs. Go to like a speedrunning community because they will give you information. TAS communities too. They have a lot of information about how games really do work. Because they're also the ones looking out for things like, oh yeah, if you make a one-frame input here, Kirby will flip upside down and it kills everybody in the game at the same time. They're the ones to find that kind of stuff out. You're not going to find that out on your own necessarily, and even if you did, it'd probably be something like the story I just told with the Rogan outfit. You probably wouldn't know why what just happened. I mean, it's what even debugging for a game is. If you're working like QA on a game, that's what you're doing. If you're a tester, you're trying to like get out of bounds, you're trying to break a game and then figure out how to reproduce that bug so programmers can squash it and get rid of it. The people were saying around the castle was one of them, right? Which, are there even any red crates?
Under Wispy Woods, on the platform above the waterfall. The 3 platform thingy. It's too nondescript, I don't know what that means.
That also just sounds like...
Under the volcano, the beaches, near the bunkers, and near the underground.
So that just sounds like where crates...
It just sounds like all of the locations.
Well, not all the locations, but it sounds like where just crates spawn in general, is what it sounds like.
Just watch to see which ones don't respawn.
I guess. Well, hang on, the world's ending. Oh, never mind. It's just a pillar. It's just a pillar. Steal my items, will you? Go set off that bomb, why don't you? Yeah! Yeah, that's what you get! That's what you get for taking my items! That's what you get! Get out! Here, you want another bomb? Okay, let's go underground. Let's see. Hey, Hydra. But that's Hydra, that's not Dragoon. It's a big list of locations. Oops, that was my fault. Because there's a lot of spots I'm going to have to comb through. Hydra again. I'm just getting Hydra. I need Dragoon. But from what I've seen, that's why I was saying that at the beginning of the stream. When I was younger playing this, the thing that I typically noticed was even if in those spots, things by Wispy Woods, for example, because you've seen it, sometimes it will be a red crate, but no, it doesn't have the piece in it. It's still random if it's going to have the piece or not. But I've had playthroughs where, even in those spots, it just never ever spawned a piece. So it seems like they're either super, super, super random, or there's a chance that the game needs to even like activate the first time around of, okay, we're going to start spawning pieces now. You finally found a piece, so now we're going to start increasing the rate of these spawning for you. Like, I'm not sure how it works, but that's what it always kind of felt like. It felt like you needed to find the first piece for the others to even become, like, obtainable. Because sometimes there are just runs where you get such rotten luck that you never even have a piece show up. You have red crates show up, but you just never get pieces in them. Wispy Woods is where I usually was trying to break open crates because they spawn over here so often. And there's one right here, and I just missed it. It's just an ability. No red crates. Nope. No red crates here. Wait a second, that's a fictional city. I thought it was the real thing. We're not living on giant boxes? But the sky is just a giant box, I've seen it. That was an interesting one. I guess people didn't realize why skyboxes were called skyboxes. People were talking about how the skybox in Ocarina of Time works, and while it is interesting, I guess, if you've never like heard of how that kind of thing functions, that skyboxes are based off, like, you know, the game's camera positions and everything too. That's how they fake effects with it. Same thing goes for like 2D sprites in games. In a lot of 3D games, 2D sprites are actually planes with a texture rendered onto them, and they're always facing the camera. So these right here, these power-ups, for example, that's how they're working. They're facing the camera at all times. It's why some games can even be wonky about it. For example, if you guys have played the new Splatoon, the holograms in the lobby, if you rotate the camera vertically, you'll see that they don't actually follow the camera on that. That's deliberate. They set it up that way. But that's why, yeah, you can control that. You can do certain things with that. That's how skyboxes in a lot of games tend to work. It is literally a gigantic box or like a sphere or something. Typically, like in new games, it could be all sorts of ways that you can render it. People use shaders now for rendering skyboxes. It's become a lot more complex. You can get a lot more out of it. Back at the time, yes, it was literally boxes in a lot of cases. And it would just be constantly facing the camera. In some games, it was just a 2D sprite that was hovering in the same position at all points. But, yeah. It's obviously not a real sky. It's just a render that's being blown up really big around you and tries to follow around you. But I guess some people didn't know skyboxes are called skyboxes because sometimes they literally were boxes. That's how they started out in a lot of cases. But they vary. It depends between games how they function. And even some of the stuff I'm just saying there, it's not every game at all. Lots of games do fancy new things. New games can get super elaborate with their skyboxes that you probably are like just totally sold on the effect. Like I said, people are utilizing like shaders and everything now. It's cool what you can pull off with that, just dynamically like rendering clouds and skies and everything. I always liked 3D, like, modeled skyboxes, though. Something I really liked about Spyro the Dragon on PS1, those skyboxes are modeled. Those are, like, points on models that you're seeing in the backdrop. Those are 3D models, which are pretty cool. I like that. I like the look of that a lot. Spyro is just a great game with its atmosphere, though. I remember it was always really cozy to play as a kid. That's the thing with Spyro. It was a very, like, cozy game. It was very tame. I don't remember it ever necessarily being challenging. The first one, at least. I know there are certain challenges in the sequels that people would not call relaxing. But, no, the first game was really tame and, like, laid back. I remember liking it a lot as a kid. Cartoon Network had a contest to win it, I remember, from Toonami. I entered, but I didn't win. They also had a contest to win Super Smash Brothers and an N64 from Toonami, and I didn't win. I did win something. I won like a Gundam from a contest they did. They did a lot of contests, didn't they? Oh my god, a bomb! Oh my god, JC, a bomb! A bomb! I could just do other modes in this. It's funny that this is how difficult it's been to get the Dragoon. I guess to be fair, I do usually get the Hydra instead of the Dragoon, because I usually get those pieces first, but... Oh, let's try. Let's try doing the plan that everyone staked out here. The plan that everyone designated here. Let's go to these locations where apparently they spawn the most and see if that's really true or not. We did get a red crate here, but it was not at all a piece. Let's go to... They said underneath the volcano? Let's grab that first. Get this so we can go a little bit quicker when we need to hop between these points. There we go. Just go for this for fun. Nope. I didn't see this one spawn, so I have no clue if it has it. Not that it mattered! Let's go over here. And once again, this game is very fun. It's why I've been talking so much while just kind of casually playing it. It's a very laid-back game. You don't even really need to focus on it. It's just a fun game. Oh, okay. Oh, not getting a lot of luck underground here. Wait, now the items are all bouncy. Oh, ooh, gets me mad. Oh, I'm giving this game a negative review on Steam, that's for sure. I don't care, I have 8,000 hours on it. I didn't see that one over there bouncing, though. And that's all that matters. No, that's the Hydra again. Please, no. I don't want the Hydra. I just want the Dragoon. I've gotten the Hydra so many times already. No! Listen to me! I'm screaming into my controller! Listen to me, Nintendo! He's screaming into his controller. We need to listen to him. He figured out that we were listening. Hey, whoa! Whoa! What was that? What do you think you're doing in here? Oh, you think you're gonna take my pieces? No, I'm taking your pieces, you turd! Oh my god. Where are you? Who do you think you are? Okay. Excuse me? Oh, poor thing! Oh. Oh, couldn't escape in the corner, huh? That sucked. Okay, let's try going underneath here. Crate, red crate! Let's go down here. Crate, anywhere, a crate. Nope, no crate. They said there were better odds here. Crate, where are you? They spoke of better odds. That's not what I wanted. Oh, hey, air rides are approaching. This is a weird one. It's just a bunch of vehicles arrive and you can grab one if you want, or they leave. They all like fly in through a formation. Let me see if I can get up to them even, maybe to show them. They're over here somewhere. I think they're just really high. No, there they are. You can see them. Yeah, they're just gently flying by. So, you know, if you want one of those. Not that I do. Wow, cool. We did it. We got the Hydra. It's not the Dragoon. It's not the Dragoon. I got the Hydra! Sorry, I was shouting at Julia in the other room. I could go in the free mode to just show the Dragoon. I mean, the Dragoon is usable in free mode, and also there's certain vehicles only in free mode you can't even use in this mode anyways. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, hey, hey, well, look at that. Oh, yeah, look at that. Well, we can just go to heaven now. As you can see, this skybox is just a giant sphere. Because this is a GameCube game, not a very finely smoothened sphere. But it's okay, from afar you don't really notice it too bad. Well, let's go up here. Well, let's just go anywhere. Bye, map.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Sorry, I sneezed. Ah! Oh, he's fine. But yeah, this is this vehicle. No, it's not the fastest, but I mean, you're seeing how it flies. This is the benefit of this one. Technically, I would say the Hydra is kind of a better one for a lot of the challenges, is the thing. But the Dragoon could be really useful, and for like flight challenges. Oh yeah, you want this thing. This is how you easily set records on some of those. Oh yeah, we got it. Here it is, everybody. You finally saw it. And maybe it didn't, like, I think what everyone was pointing out is probably just where crates tend to spawn in general. Because we did run into all of it this time. The other times we were running into crates, we just weren't getting what we needed. But we got good luck this time. We got both of the secret vehicles. And I don't want to... There we go. I want to fly through this stage. I guess I'm going this way. It is the halberd. It is interesting.
Did it first show up in
Superstar?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Oh! Poor Kirby got hurt. Wow, number one, yes! Yes! Oh. Well, hey! Remember how I said White Kirby was in this? I just got him. Cool.
I figured that's why you were.
No, I didn't know that unlocked him. That was just completely coincidental. I had no clue that was the thing that unlocked him. So what I did was, because I made both of those vehicles in one match, I just got White Kirby for it. Well, cool. Now we have him. I knew I wasn't crazy. Yes, he's in Melee, but I knew he was here too. I'm glad there are, like, alternate Kirby colors you can unlock. That makes sense. It's Kirby. He can be so many different colors. But here, we don't need to do this again. What I'll show you is free run, I guess. And then look, we'll just play as Meta Knight. Because, you know, why not? Just do that. But yeah, Meta Knight is not normally playable. in like the city trial mode. You have to use free run for this. This is kind of a bummer. I wish you could play as him. It's just a party game anyways. You may as well just let people do it. But you can also unlock DDD, I think, by beating him. I forget how you get Meta Knight. Oh, you can do that. Oh, my back! Oh, God! You can do this, classic. Yeah, he's just screaming like Meta Knight always does. No, it just that he like flaps his wings around. Because I do like that about Meta Nightmare. I like that he's like very heavy the way he feels. By the way, do you like that his name is Meta Knight and then in Brawl he was the entire meta? That's pretty meta, isn't it? Anyways, there's that. I could show you Top Ride. Now, get ready for this mode. Never mind, don't get ready for this mode. Never mind.
You want me to hit restart?
Here I was thinking there was another mode in this game. You know what? Hit reset. Let me hold Z down because everyone can hear the GameCube start up. This is how you know I'm playing it on a real system. Oh, well, I think I already showed off enough of Air Ride is the thing. I could probably read Super Chat stuff in a second here. But something I did want to do, we have the Game Boy player in right now, right? Here, let's give the best screen, the best error screen from a Nintendo game on the GameCube. With a lot of GameCube games, they obviously need to have error screens built into them for things like, hey, controller's unplugged. I mean, not that one, I guess, really too much. Games are good at just detecting you plugged in a controller. They got better about that. N64 games, I guess, did that more. But GameCube games would usually have a message for, obviously, the disc could not be read. There's an error of some sort. You have to have those in there for debugging purposes. You also need to have them in there for the purpose of, yeah, players need to know that. It's like how old game discs too would recommend don't play this on an actual, you know, audio device. There's game data on the first track. Don't play this on an audio device.
It's actually not.
You gotta give.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Just, I was gonna tell where we're not on this CRT.
Oh yeah, we're not on a CRT right now. The CRT's in the other room. This was just a test here on YouTube today. But I forgot what I was saying now.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. Oh! Just that games have error screens all the time. And when we were trying to play Mario Kart Double Dash, our disc just doesn't work. In fact, let me show you. I can just show all of this. This is amazing.
And you don't
okay,
have
one
to
sec.
change, you don't have to change the stream name.
I know.
You can just do whatever the fuck.
Isn't that great? Wow. Okay, one sec. Before I would get banned for trying to stream something different. No, I never got those. For as stingy as Twitch is supposed to be, I never got those. Nothing like putting in the wrong game disc. Okay, guys, are you ready to play some Double Dash? My disc is a little beat up, but I bet we could play it. If it works, I'll be thrilled, because we couldn't get this working. We tried like a million times. There we go. Nice red border. Great way of terrifying children. Good job. They can see this and go, did I do that? Did I do something wrong? This one's very minor. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just showing that games have these. But let me get to the best one that Nintendo's done, because goddamn, they didn't need to go as hard as they did, but they sure did. Where's Game Boy Player? You remember what it does, right?
That it makes like the sound, right?
The very dramatic.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Oh, he's still going. I put in the Game Boy player. No! No! Wrong game!
Yeah.
Now, when does it appear? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know how you do
Because I'm trying to remember that you get pissed off and it yells at you. It's not removing the disc that does it. What does it? Does anyone remember what gets the message to actually appear? Because now I forgot. Is it if I rip the cartridge out while I'm playing it? That might be what it is. Do we have a Game Boy Advance cartridge I could just do this with? You know what? Let's find a Game Boy Color cartridge.
You'd have to get it out of the drawer.
Yeah, one sec. Okay, let's try this again.
Well, that one's not going to work anyway. So it should, yeah.
All right, that might have already done it. That's the screen I was talking about. I was trying to see if I could get the screen to go off. There it is. Yeah, that's a nice one, isn't it? Very friendly screen, isn't it? First time that happened to me, it was something so minor about the game cartridge getting bumped, and you get to hear, like, holy shit, fuck, I'm sorry, goddamn. I'm sorry, Game Boy player. Jesus Christ.
Wayne Silver says, I wish the text box included, how dare you?
You know, the how dare you thing, Game Boy Camera kind of did that.
Did it?
They had the who are you running from screen, and if you made it pop up too often, the next one said, and don't be so silly. It was stop being silly. I can't even reset it. I have to turn the power off. Okay, guys, let's play some Game Boy Player here today. Just gonna play a little bit of Game Boy Player. You know, I'm just using my classic Pelican Accessories Brain Boy.
I didn't know it worked.
Let's just modify my file for Pokemon really quick. What we'll edit is... By the way, I remember trying Kirby Tilt and Tumble on the Game Boy Player, where you have to pick up your GameCube and start rotating it around to play it. It is unfortunate that the Game Boy Player was like one of the only convenient ways of playing Game Boy Color games on your television. And even now, it goes for a ton of money, the Game Boy Player, because people film with it. You were looking into Nintendo 3DS capture and how that's like a nightmare right now for people. That they're not producing any of those anymore. But yeah, Game Boy Player, interesting piece of hardware, but man, what an error message screen, huh? But hey, we played Air Ride. YouTube seems to be working pretty decent here. Hopefully you guys had an okay time here. Seems like things went over pretty decent over here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like things worked out.
Bad. I guess check your donations.
Yeah, I guess let me start reading those. But let me put on music too. You don't want to hear this. That being silence. Oh right, I'm not allowed to hit the reset button.
Oops. Can I play Pikmin while you read?
Oh, you can play Pikmin if you want while I'm reading.
I wanted to play Pikmin. Since
Here,
this
just put it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you everybody who came by with this little experiment here on YouTube. I think it worked out pretty decent. And admittedly, the atmosphere seemed pretty laid back.
Yeah, it did.
Twitch usually is a lot more hectic than this. If anything, I was kind of anticipating that because this is going to be such a new thing, it's going to be very, like, erratic. But no, it was actually pretty tame. This was decent.
That might be part of it because it's your first time doing
Maybe.
it on YouTube.
Yeah, maybe doing more.
The people don't even know that you're here.
It's true, maybe if I do more. But I had a good time. Because, yeah, it was very calm over here. Julian is just playing Pikmin in the back right now, and how do I open Super Chats? How do I see them?
I'll tell you. Okay, go to YouTube Studio.
Uh-huh.
And in the left menu, click monetization.
Uh,
Oh, sorry, I'm reading how to turn it on.
yeah.
I'm a doofus. You would go to...
No, it has a list of them here.
You still want to go
Yeah.
to YouTube
No, I found it, I
Studio?
found it, I found
Okay,
it.
good. If you found it, then you're good.
Wow, there's a lot of them, too. More than we typically have on Twitch.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would assume because people think this is like your first stream.
maybe. The thing is, maybe not, because I have noticed with YouTube streams, it seems like it's a lot easier for people to, like, throw support.
People did say that donating here is easier than on Twitch.
No, it doesn't help that Twitch tries to, like, bury your description. So if you have a donation button, they make it really hard for people to find on a lot of devices.
And the other thing is, a lot of people did say specifically, "Oh, I'm so glad you're on YouTube and not Twitch now because I couldn't get Twitch to load or something like that."
Oh,
a lot of
no, I believe it because of the new ad stuff.
a lot. Of
I was trying to
people-
watch your stream and I couldn't because of the ads, and then it fails to load your video, and then I have to watch an ad again.
It might be better for you to use YouTube in general because even though there are some inconveniences over here, it does seem like a lot like people prefer YouTube massively over Twitch.
It's just they go so hard with tidying up content. I
I
wanna
know.
do VHS streams, and I don't know if YouTube will let me
I
do
would assume
that.
they wouldn't is the problem. Yeah.
Twitch was always cool about.
Maybe say that stuff for Picardo.
I
or
mean,
something.
I fucking watched an episode of the Samsonadzes on Twitch, and they didn't care one bit. I don't know if you're on YouTube, that would be totally different. I lose my account over it. That's why I didn't, like, consider YouTube too heavily. I got partnered on Twitch, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I like how lax they've been with my end. I haven't been banned for anything. I've done stuff on there that I'm kind of shocked I wasn't. Just because it's like...
criticizing Amazon and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's true. I thought stuff like that was going to get me in a lot of trouble. I was doing a VHS stream at one point, and I was watching a lot of just, like, old retail store, like, training videos. And then I was about to play the Amazon union busting video that was recent, and I had to stop and realize, if I do this, I bet I'm getting banned, like, permanently for this if I make fun of this video. Because that video leaked out. That also was not a video that got posted because, like, Amazon shared it themselves. So I watched a different one. I watched a Kmart video about union busting, which was pretty comedic in its own right. But yeah, Twitch, they've been really lenient with me. And I do like some stuff about Twitch, but with where it's been going, and also how convenient YouTube does seem to be, at least for audiences, maybe on the creator end it's pretty inconvenient, but at least for audiences, it seems pretty straightforward. You just click it open and you go. Maybe I consider this more in the future then. Because this stream went over pretty well, and honestly, this is the first, guys. This is a stream where I feel pretty good at the end of it. That doesn't tend to happen. Usually there's something like, man, that one thing I did wrong, though, I really fucked the whole thing over.
You probably will have to explain more considering how many people.
Yeah, I guess so. A lot of people are probably here for the first time. You're right. I have been streaming for ages. If people didn't even know this is the first time you've seen a stream, I was doing them on Twitch for like 6 years now. But that's the thing is, it seems like because it was on Twitch, a lot of people didn't even know. And it also seems like Twitch was keeping a lot of people out. this YouTube stream seemed to actually go a lot better. And the thing is, the atmosphere on Twitch too, because of what it is, things could get really weird over there sometimes, or really messy. It could be pretty hairy dealing with just like, especially when there's like 2,000 people in a stream in the chat. Things get pretty chaotic sometimes. Our Halloween stream last year, the one I was talking about during this stream, it was the first time for us doing it, and we did have a lot of people show up over on Twitch, except what that led to was everybody flooding the chat with the exact same message for like 3 hours straight. But at least when we rebroadcasted, it didn't happen again. It was just the first day that it happened. Chaos does seem to happen a lot over on Twitch, and I would have expected it of YouTube, but no, it was pretty laid back here tonight. That's why I was saying, this is kind of like a first. This was so laid back that I feel like good after this stream. It's a very rare thing to have, that it's like, wow, no, that was just fun. It was just a fun time, and it was like relaxing. And I do like that, I will say. I like that a lot. But hopefully people who came by here, I hope you had fun. I'm going to read Super Chat. Julian's just playing Pikmin in the background while I do so. If anyone keeps, throwing Super Chats in, I'm reading through from the beginning of the list to the end, so don't worry, I'll still read what you throw in. But, yeah, let me pull this open. Thank you, Miss Ebola. You were the first one, I remember. Thank you for 5 Canadian dollars. Now, that is different than US dollars. I had to notice that with the Big Catch Kickstarter. They're actually asking for, because they're asking for Canadian dollars, it got converted over by Kickstarter to an amount that was smaller, because when I saw the amount they were asking for, I was like, I hope that's enough for a budget. It seems like they do want more for the game, and I'm glad they're making a lot of progress. I just hope they can, like, exceed that budget. I feel like they need more than that. It looks amazing, that game, though. But yeah, that was interesting to spot that it was originally listed in Canadian dollars, and it got converted to US dollars, and I always have to remember, oh yeah, Canadian dollar value is like really high by comparison. It goes down once it switches to USD. But there is $5 CAD, and they said, hey, cool, it works. It does, thank you, Miss Ebola. Yeah, it worked. This all worked out pretty well here today. I'm gonna need to change some stuff about my software. When I stream, I was using a lot of my own custom software, but it was written specifically for Twitch. I'd probably have to look into writing some of that for YouTube. I'll still use Twitch for certain things, specifically streams that I know YouTube is not going to be cool about. I would still use Twitch for. But maybe I start trying some game stuff over here instead. Maybe it'll go over better. It seems like this is easier for people to find than something like on Twitch. Thank you to Wolf Harper for $4.99 USD. They said, hope you doing good, Ding Dong and Julian. Yeah, doing pretty well here, actually. A lot of crazy stuff has been going on this year, obviously. It's actually been a pretty, like, hellish year, but honestly, the past week here hasn't been too bad. And honestly, too, getting a lot of exciting news about the Halloween stuff, which is nice. Been getting a lot of stuff ready for Halloween. Already making really good progress, too, on all the Halloween stuff we're getting ready. I'm just kind of excited, because next month is October. I'm really looking forward to doing Halloween stuff. And if we can actually get this done on time, like if we get everything according to schedule, then we should also be able to have some time to just, have Halloween too. Last Halloween, we kind of lost our Halloween 2 doing the stream, but it was fine because at least it ended up being a fun time, like, ultimately. Even if the first stream was pretty rough, the second stream went pretty well. I guess I didn't even get into that. The reason we had to do a second stream was our internet went out, so that stunk. But, I wonder how that'll go, too. I've heard people say that YouTube bitrate stuff ends up going a lot better. It's not the same thing as being over on Twitch, that sometimes their servers are just kind of wonky and everyone's stream starts to suffer for a bit. I have heard from people that YouTube tends to be better with, like, connections being stable. And that's true, that's great. Because, yeah, we used to have a lot of issues with disconnections. Oh my god, when we were living in LA, having to have Spectrum, I remember we could barely even stream. Hell, when we were doing work, when we were, like, uploading videos, I remember since everybody was stuck with that ISP, people had to, like, close all their devices and everything if someone had to upload a file. It was that bad. It is nice that our internet is a little bit better here. It's not perfect. Not to mention we get severe weather that can knock out our internet like nothing. Which is why I hope that doesn't happen this year for Halloween. The first Halloween we had here in town, everything went out. The power went out, the cellular went out, like internet, everything. The town was blacked out for all of Halloween, which was pretty crazy. But hopefully this year it'll be fine. We're not going to schedule on Halloween itself. We're probably going to poll people on Twitter about that. We'll probably ask people what would be the best date for this, what's the best time to start for a stream of this length.
I think your YouTube can do polls as well.
Oh, well, that's helpful then. Because, yeah, I think I did hear that they got rid of polls, but they added them back recently, didn't they? YouTube used to have a lot of features. It was a very feature-driven platform, and then they gutted a lot of it. So it is nice that a lot of this recent stuff has been pretty positive for YouTube's end. I mean, it also helps that Twitch is shooting themselves in the, in the foot right now.
In the butt. You didn't want to say something rude.
In the ass! Ass!
Ass fuck.
We'd like to announce the new president of Twitch, Mr. James Rolfe.
Ass!
Let him do it.
I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, he'd probably do a good job.
No, he'd be entertaining, that's the thing. I think he would actually be like an entertaining company head. That he'd just be in interviews and be like, it's fucking stupid. He'd just say things like that. I'd be totally fine with it. You saw, because you're very like anti-James Rolfe, but you saw his early stuff. He can be informative if he wants to be. And that's the thing, is he's pretty mellow when he's doing that stuff. That is what I liked about him the most. The NES accessories video is probably one of the better ones because it really is just, here's information. There's jokes, but it's jokes around the information. We're not doing skits and bits that are 5 to 10 minutes in length. It's mostly just discussing old video game accessories and talking about the history around them. It's a fun one. Sega CD 32X videos, got some good history in there. Really, the Jaguar is the one that I think is pretty fascinating. The first part of the Jaguar video is almost exclusively just talking about like game history and what the console wars were like. Whenever people do things like that, I appreciate it. I think it's a lot more valuable than a skit where you punch Bugs Bunny. Although he was the first to do those, so you gotta give him credit for that. But I mean, he's been exceeded. People have done better. Did you see the new Irate Gamer Show video? Masterpiece. I don't know, I didn't see it. But I assume. He's a very creative man. Thank you, John Doe, for $10. They typed a funny 4chan meme followed by "Have a good Kirbo ride." Thank you, John Doe. Thank you, Glogbob, for $2. Money, money, hee 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 hee. Oh my god. Well, thank you. I'm glad I made you laugh so much. Thank you, Atomic Tank 1000 for $5. Ding Dong, show us some of your favorite spots on the map. I did! I kind of even forgot about it, that there's the little flower on top of the castle. I'm glad they put little Easter eggs in like that. It's fun. City Trial is a very, very entertaining mode, and honestly, because I was so absent-minded while playing it, I probably could have had it going even longer. Just because you're usually unlocking stuff while playing it, it's just kind of fun, and it's not that involved. It's a good time. Once again, if no one's ever played Kirby Air Ride, it's not easy to get right now, obviously, like, legitimately. I don't know what to really offer to you there in terms of, like, how are you gonna play it right now? Used game market is really cruel when it comes to GameCube games, but if you somehow have access to Kirby Air Ride, yeah, play it. It's really fun. It's a really good game. Ignore any of the reviews you saw back at the time that were giving it like a 5 out of 10. It's a very good game. It's a lot of fun. But specifically, be sure you get friends together. Don't just play it alone. I was playing it alone here, but usually Julian and I are playing it together. This was just a test stream. Ideally, you have 4-player split screen going, or even more ideally, you have a LAN adapter, and then you get the biggest group possible to play City Trial together. Which, at conventions, they'll do it. If people go to conventions, like game conventions or like anime conventions, there's always a game room, and they tend to have stuff like that hooked up. MagFest, I remember, had it hooked up with a bunch of LAN adapters that they had a few GameCubes out so people could get into sessions. I remember seeing Double Dash set up that way too. So you might run into it. And once again, I'd highly recommend it. It's very, very, very good. It's a really fun game. Thank you, Carlos. Oh, Carlos Javier Castro Chavez. Thank you for $20. They said, "Hola, Dingy. Love you and Julian. Thank you. Hope you're doing well, Carlos. Hopefully I didn't keep you up too late here. Hopefully I didn't keep any of you up too late here. This was a test. Keep that in mind. This was a test. But thank you. And thank you, Baby Seals Are Yummy. Is that your name? Like in real life, not your account name. Is that on your birth certificate? That is your name? Okay. Just confirming. Thank you for $10. They said, I miss you, goobers. I'm right here. I've never understood it, but to be fair, we did talk about it here on stream today. Maybe we solved the puzzle here. Maybe we finally cracked the code. The issue this entire time was that we were probably just on Twitch, and people didn't even know we were streaming this whole time. Because, yeah, we have been present for like 6 years doing stuff. We have been around this whole time. People might have just not known. So hopefully this helps with that a bit, that people understand we're still around. But they said, Ding Dong, you're a lore master for old obscure games. What's your favorite soundtrack from an old obscure game? That's tough because I don't know what people would consider to be old or obscure.
The things you like in general.
Oh. Because, it's weird to me. I don't feel like they're old and obscure.
Because you're old and obscure.
I guess so. I guess I'm old and obscure. Oh. No, I'm joking. I'd have to think. I don't know. Can't really go wrong with treasure games, for example. When we played Stretch Panic a few years back, I forgot that a lot of the boss themes in there are pretty good. But you're saying favorite. That's what makes this hard. You're not just saying what are soundtracks you like. What's your favorite? I couldn't say that's my favorite. I don't know. And even with some of the stuff, I don't know what's obscure anymore. For example, I was playing House of the Dead 1 a lot recently, but that might actually be considered obscure at this point, only because it never got ported, so people are familiar with 2 and not 1. If that were the case, I would say that is a really good soundtrack. We even got like a vinyl of it. It's really, really good. But that's not obscure, really. I think people know what House of the Dead is. Even if they didn't play the first one, or they never even seen the first one. I think they know what it is as a series, at least. I don't know. That'd be tough. I mean, rhythm games seem to be obscure to people at this point. I've been seeing people try to call out games for being Friday Night Funkin' clones when it's like, it's DDR. Have you not heard of DDR? Games existed before this. Parappa the Rapper was a thing. Yeah, it's cool that it exists, but don't think it was like the first rhythm game. I hope that's not what people are starting to think. But it's happened a lot. People are familiar with what's there, what's present, what they already kind of grew up around. Stuff that existed prior to their birth, it's not a surprise if they miss out on that. They're not familiar with it. Because it's happened. We were talking about Smash TV years back, and a lot of people were like, oh, so like Isaac. And it's like, I mean, not really, but it makes enough sense why you would say that. Isaac controls the same way. It's like a twin-stick game with room-to-room you go through, but it's not quite the same thing. Twin-stick shooters. Smash TV is more like Robotron. That's more like, Total Carnage. It's like those games. But I get it. It's because Isaac is a recent example. It's one that everybody's wildly familiar with. But that's why I don't know. I really don't know what would be classified as obscure and what wouldn't. That's tough. It's very tough. Maybe I can stick a pin in that one and come back to it. Because favorites for anything, that's a question that would take a long time. I don't usually do that anyways.
Favorite questions are really hard to answer.
Because it's you needing to, you have to
spot.
comb through your brain to remember everything that's ever existed of a property. And now you have to like categorize it and put them in order as to which is most important to you or least important, which is, by the way, based on your own scale, which you're going to now have to figure out on the spot as to which game would be your favorite. Because there's a lot of games I like, but I can't usually pick favorites, because that's the thing, it's depending on how I'm feeling. Lately, I've been into light gun games a lot, but that's also just because I haven't played them in a long time. I can tell I'm kind of excited for them because it's been so long and it's so refreshing to get to play again. But that's not a thing that I would say these games are my absolute favorites, or this is the best game of all time. I wouldn't go that far. I would say some of them are really well done for what they're supposed to be, but I can't go as far as saying, like, it's the best of the best. I just don't tend to do that, I guess. I have a really hard time doing that. Because I also understand that most things are subjective anyhow. It feels like when you're trying to do that to yourself, you're trying to make a more objective statement to yourself about something subjective. I do have a hard time with it. But there are a lot of good game soundtracks out there, and I've posted my music playlist before. My YouTube music playlist has like over 1,000 songs on it from old video games. I was shocked to see that, by the way. I went and opened it. I was surprised there were that many. I didn't know I put that many songs in there. I thought that playlist was like only like 100 or something. I didn't know it actually got up to 1,000. Although most of them have been taken down. I have to keep finding mirrors because YouTube. Yeah. Wouldn't it really suck if Nintendo came in and took down one of the biggest video game music upload based channels just because they uploaded soundtracks that were not legally available for people to purchase anyways? Not that they would do that. I don't think Nintendo would do that. They're not known to like go after people, are they? I think they're pretty known for this. They're known for little plant people that chase you around. But maybe they're chasing you around because you stole their music. They do sing a lot. They hear Almar humming their song, and they all get angry and start beating him down. But game soundtracks are a good discussion anyways. There are so many good ones out there. And I feel like as the years go on, you don't get people talking about just how many good game soundtracks there are. Game music in general is a scene I wish was bigger. Music scenes don't tend to be very large, and when it comes to like the video game music scene, it's there and it's present, and there's always been people within it. But it feels like one of the lesser ends for like where gaming audiences go. It feels like you kind of need to be invested in those areas to get in there, and that outsiders aren't necessarily going to hover in and go, I want to hear covers of game songs, or go, I want to hear people discuss about like old game compositions or anything. But there is a lot of good music in games, and I would say music makes a lot of games. People never want to talk about that. This is why I can't really give you an answer on a favorite, but at least I can go into a discussion about this, I guess, why it's so complex for me to answer. Game music is actually one of the most important things, I think, in a game. People really don't talk enough about sound design and how it could lend to the experience. Some fighting games, I only like them because I can tell this. Those sound effects that they chose give such good impact that it feels really good to play thanks to that. It's not just the hit-stop timing that they decided on. It's not because, oh, a sprite is shaking in just the right way after impact. It's not because really good hit sparks. All of that is a component, for sure. But audio design can go a long way, and I can just bring up another example because I just talked about House of the Dead. House of the Dead Remake compared to House of the Dead 1. Sound effects are dinkier, everything feels spongier. It's not the same experience. Hell, even House of the Dead 1 to 2. 2, you don't have eyeballs popping out anymore. But not just that, that's a visual cue. You don't have the same headshot sound anymore. The headshot sound in House of the Dead 1 is so satisfying. And in 2, they have a new one. It's okay, but it's not quite the same. The sound design in the first game, even if a lot of it is stock sounds that they're using, they just feel right. They give you really good impact, and it makes what you're doing feel even better. And people don't consider that a lot. They'll think about visual cues and stuff like that, but audio goes a long way too, and some games do feel better because really good audio design. You're playing Pikmin. Pikmin's got dynamic music in it, and it really adds to the atmosphere. Audio can do so much for a game. And it's usually because people try to, break it down. They figure that you have to put stat points into a game, that it's like, okay, you can only have one area really excel here. Either the gameplay, the graphics. It doesn't really function that way. That's not really how people are looking at it. It's an overall artistic project. There is priority being made, but it's not a thing that they really are breaking it down as if it's like an RPG or something. Obviously, you'd want to play into the strengths of everything that this medium has to offer to make the ideal gaming experience. Compromises would probably come because, you know, budgetary reasons, time constraints, there can be a lot. But audio is really important, it really is. It lends so much. And going back to House of the Dead 1 again, that game, if it didn't have that soundtrack, I don't think it'd be the same experience anymore, because Remake already proved that. It's not. In fact, some recent titles, I could say that too. Undertale, I enjoyed Undertale, but man, if it didn't have that sound, that sucks, the situation you're in.
Yeah. Why are they even going that way?
If Undertale did not have the soundtrack it had, I bet those moments would not have been anywhere near as impactful for people. I bet that game would not have been as iconic for people. The soundtrack, I think, is one of the biggest factors of what made that game work. And it was one of the most polished parts of the game, too. Music matters a lot. Audio matters a lot. And it's something to just consider in the future, I guess, with games. Maybe you've never really noticed it, but try listening out for this stuff. Maybe in some games, the satisfaction you're getting out playing them really isn't just the feedback, but the additional feedback of that audio design. It's not just like, oh, your controller vibrating made something feel good. You heard a really good sound cue to go with it. Another example I can give, Street Fighter 3. Third Strike specifically, that parry sound effect is one of the most satisfying sound effects in a video game of all time. Every time you get a parry in that game, it feels incredible. It is such a good feeling. And it's not just because it's something hard to do, that's part of it, but you paired it up with one of the most satisfying sound effects, and it reads so clearly, you know that you did it successfully. It works great. Always a good thing to remember about games. You do have access to audio, and you should take advantage of that, because it is neat, and it can help. Thank you, Jack of Blades $3.99. They gave Zar 14. Okay. Whatever. It's actually broken in half on my page. I think it's getting cut off, but they gave $14 and they said laugh plus scream. Okay. I think I did do both of those in the stream today, so I think I covered that. Thank you, Jack of Blades. Hopefully they were good enough. Let's see. Thank you, Mac YouTube, for $5. Here's $5, so buy yourself some Hostess Scary Cakes or something. Do they have Scary Cakes? I didn't even know.
What does that mean?
What are Scary Cakes? I didn't know they had Scary Cakes. I just knew they had cupcakes. You gotta tell me about these Hostess Scary Cakes. What makes them terrifying? Is there blood in them? They wouldn't put blood in a food they would sell, would they? Oh god. I tabbed back to the chat, and it's like on this huge delay, and I'm just watching a million messages come through that there's no way of me reading right now. Uh-oh. Oh god. I guess it has to catch up. Oh god. Okay, well anyways, I'll just read the next one. Thank you, Boiling Milk, for $2. Hey Ding Dong, how's it going? It's going alright. Hopefully you're doing alright. Thank you, Dadco, for, or Dad, it's not like a,
Dadco.
well, not like a company. It's spelled with a K. But I do like Dadco as if it was a company that it's just called Dadco.
They make dads.
They produce dads. Thank you for $5. They said, evening. Hope you two are doing well. 2 questions. Will you archive the stream? And what are Julian's thoughts on Luigi's Mansion 3? He didn't play 3. We watched it.
We didn't finish it, though.
No, we didn't. I don't know. Well, we'd have to play it.
Yeah, I don't know how it controls.
Exactly, yeah. There's a lot that's not gripping me specifically about it. It seems to be more about, like, cutscenes and silly interactions than it is about, like... I don't know, the first game's very arcadey. It's not really, like, having its pace broken up too hard by anything, and I like that about it. But that's me. That's because I'm weird. I like arcade-style games. And to be fair, Luigi's Mansion 1 is the one that has, like, abysmal reviews for it. 3 was received a lot better. So I assume people are more into it. But yeah, we haven't played it, unfortunately. In terms of archiving the stream, probably not, but I might start getting more on this archive if I am just directly streaming on here, huh? That I really don't have to do too much. Because with Twitch stuff, it means that I have to then get it off the Twitch servers, and then usually there's compression issues, so then I have to go in and fix up the footage if I can, and I have to mess with the audio levels because something was wrong there. At least here with YouTube, it seems like I could probably just do some of that stuff in the, platform itself. If I want to fix audio, I could probably even do that in here if I needed to. Unless they got rid of it. I don't know if they got rid of some of those tools. I do remember back at the time they said they were getting rid of the option to clip video shorter, which was like, why are you doing that? Aren't you a video upload website? Why are you taking out video editing features? But I don't remember if they actually went through with that. I always saw those options still available. I never saw them fully go away. But to be fair, I also don't actively use YouTube, so... Someone said, YouTube mess with features for question mark reasons? No, there's reasons. Remember this every time when a business makes a decision like this. It didn't happen by accident. They didn't, roll some dice or use, a random word generator to come up with, a post they're gonna make telling people about how people are getting pay cuts or something. That's not how that happens. They do it for a reason. They just might not be so direct or forward what that reasoning is. In fact, a lot of it seems counterproductive, but they got their reasons. With YouTube doing that stuff, I imagine it's that they don't want their servers to be as overloaded as intensively by having people do stuff like that. The changes they made to monetization, I would assume, were being done because, well, if we take this away from the lower end, maybe lower end people won't be uploading as often. Maybe we don't have to be as overloaded by those people, and then the people actually making us money will be the ones uploading. It does seem like some of the stuff YouTube has been doing is so it doesn't hemorrhage as much money, because it always was hemorrhaging money. But it is typically very inconvenient features which get people just scratching their heads going, why are you doing this? You're a video website. Why are you taking out basic video options? But that's business. That's what business does. It grows until it can't grow anymore, but then it has to keep growing. So then it starts just making weird, confused, inconvenient decisions for its consumers. Someone said, it's so weird seeing how differently some people play the same game. I think it's an interesting thing. I think it's a good thing about it. I think it's a lot of fun getting to see how people can approach a game. And Pikmin is an interesting one because Pikmin has so many variables and weird elements to it, even things you can't really anticipate, like Pikmin tripping, which is kind of frustrating, but it's in there. Yeah, someone's first experience of this game is never going to really look like anyone else's. Everyone's going to get probably, stuck on something awkward, but it'll be different between everyone. Most people are probably going to miss some of the little elements that are hidden around. Although some things, probably not. You'll probably stumble across them, or at least be aware that they exist, even if you don't necessarily, tackle it head-on. But I remember when I first played this as a kid, I wasn't even too sure, even at the very end of the game with the combat system, I wasn't too sure about it, because everything has such specific weaknesses that knowledge is really important in a game like this. And that's why it works the way it does, because you don't have that, do you? It is a game designed for you to come back in and kind of mess around, sandbox it, see if you can get better at it, be more optimal. Which is fun. Although, there are limits, obviously, for that. I wonder what Pikmin 4 is going to be like, considering that they're saying it's going to be so, radically different. I guess we'll have to see. I don't know how I feel if it does shift too hard. I would hope it would be they're learning some stuff from 3. Because Pikmin always has felt a bit like, yes, this game is kind of tech demo-y, the first one, but it has some good ideas in here. And as the series went on, it felt like it figured out a lot more how to just make a really solid experience out of this in terms of, control scheme, reliably doing the things you're trying to do. Being able to actually micromanage better, too. Pikmin 3, you actually can micromanage! It's so nice that you can finally do that! Yes, you could tag to Louie in 2, but it didn't serve as much of a purpose as I think they were hoping for. 3, it's great! You just open the map and you switch between everybody, assign actions to them, and just let them go. It's fun for that. 3 did make some good improvements. So I wonder what 4 is going to do. I would only be bummed if it's like, it doesn't even really play the same way anymore. I would just have, like, the hope that the new game is good then, but it would be a bummer to people who like Pikmin if they're like, okay, now the game doesn't even play like anything you liked anymore, and maybe you won't even enjoy it now. But we don't know. It's too early. We didn't get to hear really anything. Oh my god. Well, at least he didn't die. I thought he was gonna just explode instead of drown.
No, the water seems to shield for some reason.
Interesting.
Obviously,
That's good to know.
I wouldn't gather that that's intentional.
No, probably not intentional, but that's good to know, because that's like shortcutting really hard with the yellow. Because you got to do that.
You're
The
supposed to
bridge up
use-
ahead, you're supposed to...
You're very clearly supposed to use blue Pikmin for that part.
Yeah. But that's the workaround, is you utilize the yellow to get around earlier. Excuse me, it wasn't 5 years with Pikmin 4. It was 7 years, wasn't it? I think it was 7 years was when Miyamoto said the thing about it being done. Might have been 5, though. I thought it was 7 from what I remember. Thank you, Bubs, $20. Hi, boys. Just wanted to say thanks for almost a decade of laughter. I just turned 32, and I don't think I'll ever stop watching y'all content, so thanks. Thank you, although at the same time, I'm not going to be doing too much more on my own end after this year. But once again, I hope everybody sticks around for like the Halloween stream we're going to be doing next month. We still want to do some fun stuff here. I do want to do some like, I don't know, some big stuff to like wrap up streaming stuff with. But stick around for that. We have a lot of big stuff planned for the future, even if we are going to be, at least on my end, I'm going to be not really prioritizing streams next year. Julian will still be doing stuff, and we got some stuff still figured out for this year that's going to be like probably the most polished stream stuff we've ever done, most put together. And based on budget next month, maybe even more polished. We do have a lot planned, but there is stuff that we have as like maybes based on where budget is at that we could even probably put more into the Halloween event if we really could. But we're gonna have to see. It'll just be based on how things go and where we're at. Thank you again, Miss Ebola, $5. Nintendo has moved on to more modern things like port forwarding. Yeah, I heard they're on top of that. You should open every single port. I heard that you also should just open your front door and let everybody in. Because if you let everybody in town into your home, they can fix your Nintendo Switch for you, and then Splatoon won't disconnect you anymore. Or maybe their online doesn't work very well. The one that frustrates me about Splatoon, and it seems to be confusing for people because it is a peer-to-peer game, Splatoon has error messages. Similar to what I was just showing you earlier, games have built-in error messages. You need to check for those things and alert people when something goes wrong. Sometimes error messages in games are not very clear. Maybe they don't give you a code or a number. Maybe they don't tell you anything. Those are Nintendo error codes. That's what they always do. They never explain what's going wrong. They're incredibly vague. But in Splatoon 3, it's been having a specific issue I didn't have with the other two games. It's booting me out of games sometimes, and just saying there was a connection issue. And while it's not penalizing me, it's not preventing me from going back in to find games, it is penalizing me because if you're playing ranked, it counts as a loss. But Nintendo, the game spat out an error message, and I'm already searching for a match again within seconds. Clearly, I didn't unplug my internet connection. Clearly, something is not wrong here outside of the game disconnected me from the match. You even showed me a message box. Why don't you check for that message box and prevent punishments if that message box appears? But I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to forward all of your ports. They've said it every time. Every time there's something wrong with the online in one of their games, they just tell people, I don't know, did you forward every port? Did you stop using a router? I don't know. It is frustrating, and it's unfortunate. But that's Nintendo. They've never been good about online. It is a paid service, though. I think that's the cruelest joke of them all. The only reason they put a price tag on it was because they saw everybody else was doing it, and they went, okay, I guess we could just get away with it too then. Sony had to sneak it past people. They snuck it past people by going, hey, we're not the Xbox One, and everybody was clapping, and then under their breath they said, by the way, you have to pay for online now. I was like, what? Oh, but hey, I can play used games on your system. It was a bummer. In fact, when I was playing Guilty Gear Xrd, I was not playing Rev 2 on a PS4. I was playing it on my PS3 and doing crossplay with people on the PS4 because I don't have to pay for online and they do. It's too bad they finally are like dropping support of PS3 like entirely, because I was surprised when we were living back in LA, the PS3 was still getting games. I remember Flint Hook came out on the PS3, and I was like, whoa, really? No kidding. Persona 5, didn't that even come out on PS3, as well as PS4? Games were coming out on PS3 still, even with the PS4 out. A lot of digital games were still getting released, too. So if you wanted to play some of those games online, that was your better way of doing it. Well, listen, because someone's talking about Smash Ultimate's error codes that are really vague. Let me give you one that wasn't vague, that was in the previous Smash Brothers game, because I'm never letting Nintendo forget this one. In Smash 4, you would be banned from matches for a day if you kept targeting the same player. Now take that in for a second. This is Smash Brothers. So for hitting the same player too many times, you are now banned for searching for games for a few hours here, or if not, an entire day. And if you keep doing it, maybe days. Isn't that game about hitting people? That's weird. And that was a thing, and people didn't say too much about it, even though it was like, what on earth is that? You're banning people for playing the game normally? But yeah, they did do that. That was a thing. Nintendo is very questionable about how they handle their multiplayer online experiences. They've always been questionable about that. I think the justification people would try to give to it is, well, it's mean, you're picking on somebody. Okay, now, once again, this is Smash Brothers. There's 4 people playing right now, and 3 of them are killing each other and are down really low right now.
Well, that's why you're supposed to do those new 16-player matches.
Oh, okay. Because that's the thing. There is always one of those kinds of players. And I remember this is why I never really try to play Smash with anybody. It's actually the game I do not volunteer ever to play with people, because I know people are just going to get angry. It seems to happen a lot with Smash. But there will always be that one player who loves to hide in a corner and not do anything until they see somebody is about to die, and then they try to run out and blindly just charge them, hoping to get a point, and then they go back into the corner and don't do anything. Now, a great way of taking care of that is shutting them down hard. Oops, but wait, you get banned for doing that, right? Oops. See, we're trying to create a more fun game by letting someone camp off to the side? Thankfully, it's not in Ultimate, but that was a thing. Nintendo did do that. They thought that was a good decision to ban people for that. Ban. Outright ban people. Kick them out for hours or days for that. Oh, Nintendo. Nintendo was fighting for Smash to just be a party game for years. Isn't that weird, too? Maybe it's not. I think some people would just be like, yeah, why are you all taking it so seriously? The thing you have to understand is, for some people, they're not taking it seriously. They're getting the enjoyment they want to get out of it. They like the game so much that they want to learn everything about it. People always feel threatened by that kind of thing, but they're not doing it to be hostile in a lot of cases. Sure, some people could be jerks about it, but no, some people get really invested in a game because they like it. I think that's straightforward enough. So that's why it is so weird that with Smash they did have that window of time of, man, fuck our audience, am I right? What? Why? They're not using the items. Okay. I didn't know that was a problem. I like the items in Melee. I was still using them. I mean, it's not how I always played, no, but I still have fun with them on occasion. It's true that they did have that window of, like, confusion and insecurity. I mean, think of EVO. When Melee was at EVO after the charity that raised money to have it there, remember, Nintendo wanted to pull the plug on the entire thing and told them they were not allowed to stream it. They've done it a lot. They've shut down competitive events all the time. They still do it. It is really weird seeing that when everyone's just like, Nintendo, please! We just want to love you! And Nintendo keeps going, no! No! Die! Die! Why are you doing that? Calm down. Just let people like your games, Nintendo. Jeez. And that's the thing with the phrase party game. Anything could be a party game, technically. Party game doesn't even... I mean, we've talked about this on, like, Twitch before. We were talking about musical genres. At one point, somebody was asking about a band, what genre it was, and I said, okay, I can think about 20 genres it's going to be listed as if you went to Wikipedia right now, but let's, like, place bets right now. What genres do you think this is going to fall under? There were even more. It was like 22 different genres got listed. It's actually hard to break things down and reduce them a lot. It's similar to how people didn't want to call Smash a fighting game, even though it is a fighting game. It's that you're trying to say it's not a standard fighting game is the thing. It's not a traditional 2D fighting game like Street Fighter. It's kind of its own weird, unique thing it's figured out as a platform fighter. And there are platform fighters. They've existed already. I think like Cliffhanger, there's like some interesting stuff at trying to do multiplayer, like combative games that aren't standard fighting games. Hell, even fighting games were innovating. 3D fighters were an innovation. There were 3D fighter attempts before we could even do 3D. I forget the name of the game, but I remember there's a pseudo 3D fighting game where the two characters will scale, and it tries to make it look like it is like over the shoulder, this is a 3D fight happening. There's a lot of different kinds of fighting games out there, and that's the thing with party games. There's a lot of party games out there. And hey, Melee, a lot of people were playing that at parties, weren't they? Oh, but there's a competitive scene. Yeah, but there's also a scene that's still playing it like a party game. Is it now not a party game because also people are having fun with it too? In a different kind of way? It is weird to, like, be threatened about its identity, that it's like, people are having fun, but it's in a way I don't understand. No, this can't be right. Ban them for attacking people. What? They've always been very confused with their own franchise when it came to Smash Brothers. And I don't even necessarily believe the idea of this game should not be taken seriously, because with stuff like L canceling, I don't know, that was a feature you put in on your own. Sakurai plays fighting games, and he even had a lot of history playing like SNK fighters. I would have a hard time believing that just outright this really needs to be a thing of, no, just, you can't. Don't taking this seriously, it's wrong. It just seemed like weird confusion, and not really knowing how to respond to such an overwhelming, like, audience response. Because to be fair, I mean, the audience is something else, too. That's gotta be a nightmare to navigate around that audience. Gaming audiences never realize just how loud they are, and how sometimes they don't even know what they're talking about. Good example, GTA 6. It happens. Sometimes gaming audiences absolutely are justified to complain. But sometimes they do just kind of scream, and they don't exactly know what they're screaming about. And with Smash, you get to hear that the most sometimes. So I get it. It's not easy for them managing a game like that either.
Fucking up.
I'm sorry. It's a tough trick. Yeah, it's true. Someone just brought it up. Sakurai found out about wave dashing during its development and made a post on his own online about it, telling people it's a neat thing you can do. And even treated it like it was a feature. Meaning they probably did notice it in testing and just left it because they didn't care. Which happens all the time. It could be something that lends to a game, adds on to a game. I think in Donkey Kong Country, I don't know if being able to jump out of Donkey Kong's roll was intentional, but man, did they design levels around it. I assume just during its development, they stumbled across that and went, no, that's cool. Keep that. I like that. I agree. It is cool. Keep that. I like that. Coyote time in general in games. People need to do it more. It's nice. It can lend to a lot of cool situations. Just giving people, like, a tiny bit more time to do something off of a ledge. It's cool. God, remember ledges and, like... Not ledges, but just, like, platforms in older Smash games, what you could do with them, because they let you cancel animations, like, immediately. You go bonkers. No, believe me, we don't need to go into a discussion about GTA 6. I'm glad that for once, one of the posts I made actually just read to people. I didn't have to elaborate. I just posted an image of the prototype of Smash 64 saying, yeah, man, this prototype doesn't look any good. I don't think I'm going to buy the final game because, obviously, there's an ultimate fallacy coming from all of this. It's really silly seeing people stretch this hard trying to get ammunition out of it. I get complaining about a game while it's in development when it's like late in development and some stuff does look like it's probably going to be finalized that way. They didn't even announce this game yet. They didn't show this on their own. This was a leak. And it's so early in development still. Enough so that people weren't even fully aware this existed anyhow, that they were working on this. It does just go to show that some people want to have an issue, even if it's one that's not logical and it doesn't make sense in any way. But I'm glad people have been rolling with it. There have been a lot of jokes that have actually been pretty funny coming off of it. The one I liked a lot was someone just posted a building under construction saying, "What the fuck? This place looks totally inhospitable! How am I supposed to live here? You think I'm gonna move in here? I don't think so." People complaining about, like, pancake batter saying, "That's not gonna be good! I'm not gonna eat that when it's done." I get when you could complain at, like, stuff that's being presented and shown, but not when it's this early that it wasn't even supposed to be shown. It's like seeing an animatic and going, what the hell? Where's all the in-betweens? Where's all the animation? It's an animatic. It has anim in the name. Doesn't that mean it's, like, done? Like, all the animation's done? Not really, no. Visuals are not the top priority in a lot of games either. They get a lot of time put into them, but that's the thing. They get a lot of time put into them. It's not immediate. It's a gradual process. But it does go to show a lot of people do seem to be in the dark about game development. They really have no clue. And in a way, it's even kind of sad to see. It's sad to witness. The very confident post a lot of people were sharing from the guy going, I went to a game design academy, okay? I know what I'm talking about. It's sad. But I do hope that this incident, the fact that so many developers have been showing their prototypes now to let people know, yeah, most games are like this during development. I hope this at least gets to have people form a better understanding now of, oh, so when you're making a game, you're actually, like, making it. Like, it's not just done immediately. There's actually a process. Someone said, the spaghetti is too hard. I won't eat this. I bet there was somebody like that. That sounds too real. Then he just grabs like a fistful of spaghetti and bites it and goes, oh, why is the spaghetti hard? You eat this? Someone said, the story that you told about how one of the higher-ups suggested to start working on DLC. Oh, well, that one's different. That's to also give an indication to people that the business end is the thing that you should be looking at a lot more often. As much as people want to blame, like, the grunt workers on these projects, they're making compromises because usually they're being demanded to make compromises. It's not stuff they want to do. It's not things that they want to, like, lead the project astray. You usually have somebody at the top who's funneling the money into this product going, hey, I want my product. I don't care about this shit. What are you doing? You're adding like another level? Get rid of that. That's why something like, yeah, DLC being an early focus, no, that's totally to be expected of like company heads to do that. And that's what that story was. It was the company head. It was like the very, very top coming down to tell everybody, yeah, so before you guys even do anything, don't. Because longevity with a game, you know, that's what they said. Longevity for a game comes from DLC, from what I've observed. So we need to have a really solid, like, season pass figured out. We got to do all of this. And I did figure out in my own mind a way that we were going to try to loophole that so that we wouldn't need to actually do it. I was just going to have an ini file in the game that just said, please do not set this value to 1. And if you set it to 1, it would just unlock everything. But I quit anyways. Everybody did. I've had a few jobs that I've had to already quit like that, where it was like, yeah, everybody had to quit. That it was an unwillingness from the higher up end to let the project cease, when it was like, this thing is not going to happen. And it is always uncomfortable when that has to play out. It's not just you are having a hard time, so you need to quit. It's literally everybody on the team having to figure out, how do we break this to the head that we are quitting? That this is just not going to work. I've had a couple of those. But that DLC one was one of them, where it was like, this was just so ridiculous that they seem totally clueless about what's even being made here. It's not even worth the effort. Not to mention, there was a lot going wrong, too. But no, I've had experiences like that already at companies. It exists, it happens. And yeah, it was a joke. It was, that one person had posted on Twitter just a joke about, we all know the first thing that people start on when they're making a game is the Battle Pass. But that was what I had to say in response to them was, I know it's a joke, and obviously that's not the case for most places, but I did have that happen. I did work at a company where that did happen. It was literally day one. I am not kidding. It was the instant that the last person had signed their contract that they dropped that on us. It does happen. Let's see. Thank you to Omomori for $2. What have you been playing recently? Digimon Survive we were playing recently. I've been playing Splatoon 3 recently, and outside of that, mostly just old stuff. Getting a lot of Halloween stuff ready, but I can't spoil what games those are. But we have been playing some of those and getting those ready. One of them, I'm actually, like, shocked how ready I think I am for recording it. Because we might even be able to do some stuff you don't typically see out of that game. I think I'm familiar enough with it. So, I have been playing some stuff recently. Usually I'm just working. But this has been a year where I have been finding more time to get some game stuff in. I partially have had to do it anyways, here and there. But it's been pretty fun lately. Digimon Survive I was having fun with. Pikmin, sorry. Why did I say Pikmin? I meant to say Splatoon. Oh no, it's all blurring together! The squid children, they all look like plant people to me now. I guess because I was just looking at the TV and it's Pikmin. Splatoon 3 has been a lot of fun, but there are so many issues with Nintendo's Online right now that they need to roll out a patch, because Friday is the Splatfest, which maybe we'll stream on the weekend for it, I don't know. We'll see. But that is the thing with that Splatfest. You better fix this, Nintendo. You better fix these connection issues, because I'm not the only one.
No, it's literally everybody.
Yes, I have been hearing from literally every single player who has been playing Splatoon 3 that the internet is just not working for them in it. The netcode is not panning out. They get disconnected all the time. I've had friends telling me I'm not using any of my consumables because last time I did, I got disconnected and then it ejected the entire thing out. So I just lost all of my progress for even trying to play it. Splatoon 3 is a lot of fun, but man, the online needs to be fixed up right now. Nintendo's going to keep blaming everybody else for it, but this is on them. This is not a thing of everyone else is to blame. Oh man, all of your... I guess just everybody who's playing Splatoon, you all happen to have bad internet. How about that? Nuh-uh, Nintendo. Did you try
You were showing me that
forwarding
video,
all your ports?
You were showing me that video today of the mud mouths, and that was like,
Oh my god, the Mudmouth
bonkers.
glitches. The Mudmouths are totally broken in Splatoon 3. They still haven't fixed it. It's not as bad. But the Mudmouths, day one, I had it happen. I was playing with a friend and they were just teleporting away and it was impossible to clear the wave. But I saw footage of it. The Mudmouths get even worse. They'll go into the water and slide around. Then in the clip, there's a warning about a golden one, and they're looking around for it, and just suddenly it slams into them and kills them, and then goes back into the water. It's funny to see, because of those things' designs, that they're like ghosts. It is funny seeing them zoom around really fast and teleporting around, but none of that was intentional. So it made the Mudmouths unplayable in Salmon Run. If it didn't glitch out hard enough, maybe you could clear the wave. If it bugged out hard enough, you're not clearing that wave. I'm kind of surprised it bugged out as much as it did, considering, like, I don't know, Salmon Run, they added so much, I figured in testing they would have had to have time to ensure that the online is going to be stable. I mean, there's even weird interactions and matches sometimes now, because it seems like the old netcode model doesn't necessarily fit in with some of the new stuff that exists. Lasers, for example, seem to be desynced for people. Well, nothing happened to him the whole time. Then in another match, I fired off lasers, nowhere near the guy. 5 seconds later, suddenly he's dead from the lasers, even though he's nowhere near any of it, because on his screen he got hit by them. Not on my screen, but on his screen he did, and it's peer-to-peer, so okay, I guess I got a kill? Even on stream when I was playing, there were ghost kill moments. Quite a few. I had a lot on my end where it was like, I don't think I earned that. That seemed like they just died on their screen and I wasn't even trying to kill them. Sometimes it's the other way. Sometimes you just get awkward trades. There are a lot of traded kills now in Splatoon 3. It's not like the netcode was ever very stable for Splatoon as a series, but 3 is pretty rough. They do need to patch it. And I hope they can. Because the worst end of it really is, whatever, there's lots of disconnections, there's some bugs in some of these modes. The biggest problem is, disconnections can punish you, and it might have nothing to do with you. I was playing a game with a friend, and I got booted out, and he sent a message saying, yeah, I'm only playing this match with 3 people now. You and almost everyone else got booted out. I said, that's funny, because it counted as a loss for me. I guess it counted as a loss for everybody else, too? And sometimes, yes, I got disconnected from matches with friends, and they told me they got the same error I did, and they got considered a loss, as well as me. So it's not like just picking one person to hand out a loss to. Sometimes the connection issues really are just punishing everybody, and it sucks. There's consumable items that are getting wasted, people's ranks are getting impacted by it. It's a really big problem. They need to look into it. But Splatoon 3 is still fun. I have been having a really good time with it. Some of the new music is pretty good. Some of the changes to the weapons are fun. New specials are pretty entertaining. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and there's so much content now that, unlike 2, where you probably feel like you've already kind of experienced it after a few days, maybe, 3 doesn't even have to, like, arbitrarily fence things off anymore from you. There's a lot to do. There's just a lot of modes. The card game mode was probably kind of a last-second decision, but it's a mode. It's there. There is a lot to do in Splatoon 3. And out of any of them, it feels like the biggest in that sense. That there's just so much to do. But if you already played 2, 3's not going to feel like a huge leap ahead. It's got a new coat of paint on top of it. They redid models a bit, some animations a bit. It's mostly the same engine, but there's new features, new mechanics. It's just kind of growing the game a little bit more. And it's pretty solid as a sequel for that. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's just too bad about that online thing, and I have to mention it. I get when people want to be positive about a game that they like. I do like Splatoon 3 a lot, but I think it's more valuable to be honest about that kind of thing too. If you know there's room that they could improve, I think it's a good thing to at least make mention of that. And for Splatoon 3, I want to see the best happen for it, so I hope they can fix this. What does your locker look like? I forget what I did. I put like a podium down and put just the squid like pillow on top of it. I think I put like a hat on top of him. I remember one of the lockers I saw, it was just mugs. It was like 40 mugs just laying on top of each other.
The person's name was Coffee Cat, I think.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Coffee Cat. And their locker was just full of discarded mugs. And because of how the physics system works when you're placing objects down, they're all like rotated and look like if you open the locker, they were all going to spill out and just shatter. I think the locker stuff is fun, but I do wish it wasn't so out of the way. I didn't even know where the lockers were at first when I was playing. I knew of them, but yeah, you have to go into the one room for them and everything. They're fun, but they feel a little too out of the way to really matter too much to my end. The cards are at least visible during matches and everything. The lockers you have to kind of look for yourself. It's where you at least go if you want to like add people or things like that, if you want to like look at people you've previously played with. So at least there's that. But I don't know, with how much emphasis they even put on the locker stuff. I mean, they have a whole store dedicated to buying some decorations for it. I do wish it was a little more involved or like it was more attached to the game. But it's fun. I'm glad it's there. I'm not going to complain that it's there. It's neat that there's more to do in Splatoon. Let's see. Thank you, Scott Riley. I'm trying to give good time to reading each of these, if people aren't used to this. Because this is what I always would do on Twitch. I would try to at least like read these and properly respond to the comments people leave if I can. I know some people will probably just read through messages like these in just like seconds, just shotgun through all the names and get it done with, but I do want to properly give like time and attention to these because sometimes people ask really interesting things or have like interesting conversational points. And if people are throwing support, I mean, I think it's fair enough to warrant a discussion from that. Nobody has to do any of that. And be thankful I'm new to YouTube here. On Twitch, I was refunding literally like every single donation I would get.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do that over here, or if I can. Can I even?
I don't think you can.
Because it's through AdSense. I didn't think about that. I might not even be able to here. Oh no!
Which is a good thing.
No, that's a downside. I can't use YouTube. I can't refund all the donations anymore. That changes everything. Play it loud, I would not fully agree with that. In fact, with Splatoon 3, I wouldn't even say aesthetically it really was that much of a step up. It looks different, but I actually prefer the interface designs from the previous games in some cases. Some of the new stuff I like. I don't really like the new hosts as much as the old hosts. I really liked Pearl Marina. I like Big Man. Like, I think he's a fun design. I think Shiver and Fry are okay, but they do feel kind of like you had to add new hosts, so here's new hosts. At least the campaign gives them a bit more personality. But that's the thing. I wouldn't say aesthetically 3 was like jumping out at me. What was jumping out at me was there were a lot of gameplay improvements. There were some balancing fixes. They removed main power-up as an ability, which was one of the major things breaking 2. Some of the new specials were really well thought out. Some of the ones they removed were a good idea. Some of the new stuff does seem pretty bonkers what you can get out of it. But that's going to come from just time passing here, balancing the game more. Because they always did balance patches for the old games. Not solid ones. 2, they were ignoring some pretty major issues with their balance patches. But 3 does improve the gameplay in a lot of ways. It's just that the online isn't very good. That's the major issue. It doesn't help that it was developed in like literally like 2 years or something. It was a very short window. I know back at the time when it got announced, everybody was racing to insist, no, that means it's been in development the whole time. They made a statement very directly during the final Splatfest that no, 3 was not in development at the time, nor had they even started getting like ideas put down for it. The thing with the Splatoon team is they just seem to be really dedicated because keep in mind, they were also the ones that got shifted off of Splatoon to go finish up Animal Crossing because Animal Crossing wasn't ready in time. They seem to just get worked really hard, but they're really creative and passionate and try to do the best they can, even in a short time frame. But I wish they weren't being handed short time frames. If anything, I wish Splatoon 3 was on the next console, and it was a major step up from the previous game, because netcode getting better I didn't think was going to happen with 3. That was the one area I knew they were not going to improve it. But they did add more conveniences, too. There's a training lobby now. That's nice. Some of the menus are much faster to navigate through. Want to skip the morning announcements? You can do it. No, they've been doing gameplay improvements like across the board for 3. That was why when Julian was first playing it and I was first playing it, I actually said to him, I wonder if this is going to be like an inverse thing happening here with 3. That I'm actually going to start getting into 3 because of all these gameplay improvements, but maybe it won't be as interesting to you because aesthetically, it's not doing as much as previous entries. But yeah, that's why I'm saying 3 is a good game. And no, 3 does have gameplay improvements, tons of them. If you were actually playing Splatoon, like you were playing multiplayer and you were up there, you were like X rank. Not even X, you could be like high S plus, like, you could be S plus 10 or something. S plus 9. If you're playing around there, you're going to notice for sure, like, some of the changes that got made in 3. Yes, people will eat things up, but I feel like that's a little too pessimistic of a statement, trying to, like, reduce it. The issue is more so just Nintendo fans are Nintendo fans. What's kind of odd to me is I did see so much discussion around Splatoon 3 of people getting excited, saying, I need to play this now, I need this! I saw so much discussion, and then when I hopped in the first day, I was shocked to see that on, like, Twitch, for example, yeah, there were people playing it, but the top streams didn't have that many people in there, and even then, they were all, like, Japanese streams, too. It didn't seem like the US, like, demographic I thought I was hearing so much from was as big as I thought it was. It was still big. There's still a lot of people who are fans of Splatoon, but I was surprised to see it wasn't as many as I thought it was because of how excited people got about 3. But there's still a lot of people who play Splatoon. It just seems like for a lot of people, Splatoon is one of those games, kind of like Skullgirls, where people will mention and say they like it, and then you're like, oh, who do you play as? And they go, well, I've never actually played it. I can't play that game. Splatoon is like that for a lot of people, where it's like, oh, I like how it looks, but no, I can't play it. And understandable. It does have a weird control scheme that takes some getting used to. But I think it's a lot of fun. And it's not like a lot of other shooters. It has its own thing going on. It's, some people look at it as just, oh, it's Nintendo trying to make a reduced baby shooter. And you can look at it that way, but Turf War is a very unique gameplay style. Some of the weapons, some of the stuff you can do with movement. Splatoon is its own game. It's got its own identity. And out of anything Nintendo's made, I feel like that's one of the truest, like, new IPs that they have, that if I look at it, I could think to myself, yeah, I could have seen Splatoon be like a GameCube game. I could have seen it be like an N64 game, even. It's got that traditional, like, Nintendo creativity packed into it. ARMS, I think, was them trying to do that kind of thing again, but it didn't really work out. Because, while aesthetically it was pretty interesting, gameplay just did not really hold up. There wasn't enough there to go back for. People tried. I heard so much discussion, people trying to insist, like, no, really, it's a deep game, But that's why people didn't stick with it. Even when I played it, after playing it for like a half hour, I was like, I think I might have just experienced the entire game already. It was fun enough, but not really for lasting appeal. I like the characters. I like some of the music. I wanted more from it. I'm kind of sad there isn't like an ARMS 2. We have Splatoon 3. How about an ARMS 2 where you actually add new mechanics and turn it into more of a fighting game? That could be interesting. You don't have to give up on it, Nintendo. But I didn't really get that from ARMS. I didn't get that as strongly as I did with Splatoon. Splatoon really, truly feels like a Nintendo IP. ARMS feels like it wants to be, but it didn't fully get to flesh itself out. It's like they had to rush it out there. No, exactly, Super Static Pro. I feel bad for ARMS as well, because I like designs in it. I like things about ARMS, but that is the thing that made me not play it anymore. I kind of felt like I experienced it all right away. The gameplay didn't grip me. It wasn't that compelling to me either. It's not like it was bad, but it felt kind of just like a little bit of a time waster, if anything. It wasn't something I was going to get too invested in. But that was the thing back at the time. If you were having discussion about any of this, people were not going to hear it because it's a Nintendo game. And I do remember that. There was a lot of excitement for ARMS. I saw everybody cheering and, like, you know, shouting when they were doing a beta for it and everything, too. But then it came out, and while there was a solid month, I remember of having a lot of people trying to convince me to play it and people, you know, talking about it a lot. Then about a month passed, and no one was playing it anymore. And I wasn't hearing about it anymore, and it kind of just went by. And Nintendo even tried to get some attention towards it again recently, which didn't really work out too well. I shouldn't say that, because that makes it sound like, oh, you didn't hear about the ARMS incident. There wasn't an incident. It's just, yeah, the game always needed a bit more. I'm glad there's a new Pokken, for example. I think Pokken always needed a little bit more, too, although Pokken is much more of a game. Pokken's more fleshed out. I can understand people sticking with Pokken. Not really with ARMS. But who knows? Maybe they'll do an ARMS, too. Maybe next console they'll figure out a completely different gameplay style for it or something. Because, yeah, ARMS has really good character designs, and I think it could work. You're just going to need to really overhaul the gameplay and figure out something better for it. The thing with Splatoon is that it does lend itself to a lot of complexity in different situations that can play out. ARMS doesn't. That's why Splatoon could be something so replayable, because there's a lot to do and a lot more that you want to keep coming back for. Once again, ARMS, you kind of get your experience the first time through. You don't really need to come back for it. There's not a lot of depth. There's not a lot of complexity. That's kind of the point. But it also kind of works against it. And I kind of feel bad for Nintendo on that one, too, because I also blame what the gaming community was like at the time when it came to discussion of that. Everybody was so excited about, like, oh, man, indie games, they're trying to do this new thing where fighting games are, like, nothing now. There's only one mechanic. Because then everybody can get in. And it's like, yeah, but everybody can get in, but where's the variety, then, between the play styles? That's kind of a problem, isn't it? Everybody can get in, but if the skill ceiling is non-existent, everybody is already capable of doing all the same things, and there isn't much to do, you've seen the entire game within, like, 10 minutes already. And while ARMS wasn't that bad, I think I like Dive Kick for that specifically. Dive Kick was fun for a little bit, but it's not a game you're going to infinitely go back to. Once you've seen a couple of matches of it, you've kind of seen them all. There's not too much you can do there. There was more than people expected, but I think it's just because it was such a simple control scheme, they didn't realize it could go so far. But I think that is what got learned through that era of, like, the brief indie fighting game phase of let's not have mechanics, let's just be as simple as possible, because that'll make fighting games popular. Because people keep complaining they're too hard. Oh, that wasn't really just the problem. In fact, the fighting games, god damn it, I am so sorry, fighting games. I am so sorry for you as a genre. You have people treat you so unfairly just because it's not the kind of game for them. Because that is a lot of it for people. It has nothing to even do with, like, it's too hard to get into, any of that. For some people, it really could just be as simple as this is not the right genre for you. Because fighting games, the way you get better is by losing. People don't like losing at video games. Look at Smash Brothers. Look at Mario Party. How often do you hear from people that Mario Party pisses them off? I'm kind of shocked. Because when I was a kid, nobody said that. Everyone wanted to play Mario Party. But now as an adult, I hear it constantly from people that's like, I can't play that game. It gets me so fucking angry. I had friends when I was younger that we used to play it all the time. And when we got older and played it, suddenly everyone's now pissed off with one another. It is interesting for that. But yeah, I wish ARMS worked out. And I think they have potential for it, but that's how Nintendo's going to need to look at it. I think fighting game discussion's been muddied really hard when it came to that, of people trying to figure out how to make them accessible, and probably didn't do them any favors while developing ARMS. Remember, ARMS was also in one of those charity, like, raffles for EVO, that if ARMS won the charity raffle, it would be featured as a game even though it wasn't out yet, so it'd be a sneak peek at it. And you'd think, whoa, Nintendo's making a fighting game and it's a sneak peek at it? It's gotta win then. It didn't. People didn't vote for it. Even in a situation like that, the game didn't even come out yet, and people had a chance of getting a sneak peek at it. They didn't want to. Not like they hated it. I think it came in second or third or something, but yeah, ARMS always has had potential, but Nintendo's just gonna need to take it back and kind of figure out what to do with it. And fighting games are a very tricky genre for that. That if you simplify them too much, they're not going to be interesting to watch because there's not enough rules. You're seeing the same thing play out match after match because you didn't give enough to the players to work with. You need to have some complexity. That's the unfortunate truth of a genre like fighting games. There needs to be some skill factor. If everybody is a super, then nobody is. If everybody can play this game, then everything you're watching isn't really impressive anymore, is it? You're not going to find someone pull off a cool technique because they're trying to avoid having cool techniques. They want everybody to be on the same wavelength. And I can understand accessibility. I have no issues with accessibility. But unfortunately, skill is, a thing. It's what games partially are driven around. You can design around luck, so everybody just has their turn of feeling like they won, even though then they have to keep in mind you won because the game shuffled a random number and gave it to you. Some people just want to see a screen that says you win. They don't really care what got them there. As long as it says they win, they're happy with that. It's different for everyone. And that's why I think fighting games as a genre, it's just not an easy one for a lot of people. And ARMS was going to be a tough order that Nintendo has to figure out how to sort of do this. This weird, bizarre, motion gimmick-styled game around throwing boxing gloves, while also offering some of the mechanics that a fighting game could have, so it still, plays out like a fight. There's still, like a neutral game, there's still, defense, there's offense and everything. You need it to still kind of function like a fight. But once again, I don't know. I hope in the future they do revisit ARMS. I hope they do more with it. I think those designs were super fun. I think you get a cool game out of it. You just need to have a better game is all. It's true, ARMS was also made to show off the Joy-Cons, and have you been noticing, as the system has been running its course, those Joy-Cons are not getting so much priority anymore, are they? The initial gimmick of the Switch was you can take this anywhere and pop off the Joy-Cons and do a split-screen co-op experience with the two Joy-Cons. Splatoon doesn't even have split-screen. There were a lot of early titles taking advantage of that, but as the system started running more, you weren't seeing that come up as often. A lot of games were not getting designed with that in mind anymore. I mean, Odyssey, I think, has the weirdest integration of motion gimmicks. The stuff where you can do abilities slightly better by shaking the controller. Why? Why is that even there? That one I really don't get. Is that just there because you're trying to show off the hardware can do it, I guess? Right, but that's just so arbitrary. Why? What's the point? Not to mention, I'm in handheld mode right now. I don't feel like throwing my Switch to do this. That's okay. Really odd. It's not like a bad thing necessarily, just very confusing. I don't quite get it. And it's not like it's a specific motion you do for all these different things, like all the different forms for Mario. No, it's kind of the same for all of them. You just shake it and it does the thing you normally do, but slightly better. Because you took advantage of motion controls, I guess. Really weird. HD Rumble I've at least seen taken advantage of a little bit. I mean, Odyssey had the moons, for example, that are hidden around it. Some games do kind of take advantage of it, but not many. I wonder if these controllers, by the way, would have been cheaper if they didn't prioritize the HD Rumble. Although then again, I don't know. Nintendo probably would just jack up the price anyways, wouldn't they? I mean, they sold cardboard for $120. Now, the moon, are you basing that off the visuals or the gameplay? Because, I know Tekken got revealed. I didn't actually see any gameplay of it yet. I would imagine they showed gameplay, obviously. But, with Street Fighter, I'm kind of curious about that because Street Fighter is the surface level like fighting game series, so I do always hear people get excited in that kind of way. But I'm wondering if it's a similar thing to Splatoon of it's kind of like an outside response and not necessarily coming from somebody who would play it because it does look like fun, but I'm not getting gripped super hard by it. I think the presentation and some of the new features are really good ideas. The announcers I only saw that in a couple of other games. They were like indie Japanese fighting games that did it, but really good idea. Specifically, I know they're doing it for esports, but I think it's a good idea because that's a great way you could teach players how to play your fighting game. If somebody is trapped in a corner and they're just fighting a computer opponent, and now the announcer says something about like, oh man, they're just pinned to a wall right now, they gotta get out of there. Maybe that will clue them in as a player to go, oh, should I maybe not be trapped right now? Should I try to figure out a way out? Having announcers like that is a really good move. You could start teaching people mechanics. Hell, you could have that. That's what commentary is during like a fighting game tournament, that they're saying stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, that's a certain thing that you just did there. That's because that's a frame trap situation, that this move comes out in this many frames, and that character was able to knock him out of it by doing this move. It's a really good follow-up to it. If you had that kind of commentary while playing Street Fighter, that it was telling you stuff like that, like, oh yeah, you can chain that into that. They just told you some cool tips while you're playing. The game is giving you advice while you're playing. It could be such a good thing. But I'm going to need to hear more of it is the problem. I've only seen some of the clips. I'm going to need to see what it is like in full, in practice, how layered it is. Because in theory, it could lead to so much. But that's in theory. It also could just be very basic voice clips of recognizable names just to give like the esports hype and not necessarily take advantage of that as like also a tutorial tool. But I think that could be really valuable. Fighting games, if they started doing that, that could be really, really handy for them. Because it's so, like, disconnected. It's a tutorial, except it's not. It's commentators. They're talking while you're playing. If you're good at the game, you're not going to hear that and think to yourself, oh, shut up. You're going to be thinking of it as commentary. And if you're bad at the game, you will be listening to it because they're shouting out things you weren't even aware of. You'll start picking up on things you wouldn't think to do. It is a really good idea for a feature. I just hope it comes through as fully as it could. I hope it gets to be what it could be. Like in Pokemon Stadium? If Pokemon Stadium had like 10 voice clips. Oh! It's a Weedle! Oh! It's Oddish! The Pokemon are staring each other down!
That's what I was gonna say.
They don't say anything in Stadium, and it's because it's an N64 game. Those cartridges don't hold space, and audio is going to take up the most space. They did the best they could, and it was neat having it. But that's what I would be fearful of. I don't want that. If the announcers in Street Fighter 6 are as basic as the Pokemon Stadium announcer, that would be bad. That it's just, oh, a Shoryuken. Oh, a Shoryuken. Oh, KO. No, that's okay. I don't need. You know what? I can give a good example of that. Look up King of Fighters Maximum Impact Regulation Alpha. I think it's called. Just type A. Maybe it's not even that. I don't remember. It's Maximum Impact. It's like, I think it's like Reg A or something. I don't remember what it's called. Regulation A something. It's the last one they made. It was Japan only. And the announcer in the game is so ridiculous and so invasive that it makes the game frustrating to play. Every single time there is a counter hit, he has an extended voice clip. It's not short, it's long, that he goes, ooh, a counter hit. That's gonna hurt. So every few seconds you're playing, ooh, a counter hit, ooh, a counter hit, ooh, a counter hit. That's gonna hurt, ooh, a counter hit. Bad move. You need variety. You need variety with your announcers. And that's why I am hoping, with modern technology and everything too, not to mention, nobody gives a shit about file sizes for games anymore. I played some Call of Duty game that didn't even feel like it had that much in there, and yet it was like 200 gigabytes. I'm pretty sure they can do a lot with that as a feature, and I'm hoping they will. It does look like they're paying a lot of attention to presentation in Street Fighter 6. But some of that presentation's kind of in the middle for me. The models are really detailed and everything, but I'm not super big on, like, how the game exactly looks. It's not like the style I would prefer for Street Fighter, but I know a lot of people want a game that's just very glossy, taking advantage of modern hardware and everything. And yeah, if you want something that's like over the top, a presentation like that it's like very detailed, they're trying to get characters looking, you know, closer to realism and everything. New lighting engines, being able to take advantage of like dynamic lighting, dynamic particle effects and everything. Oh no, they're going all out with it. It's just, it's not the visual style I would prefer for Street Fighter on my own end. But it does look like it'll be fun. It's definitely interesting. They're trying a lot of new things for it. we'll just have to see how it goes. But that's why I was asking if the person who had brought it up, if you're like an active Street Fighter player or not. Because I have heard people saying a lot about it, and that they're really excited for it. But I have heard a lot of it coming from people who don't play fighting games, that it seems like it's just the presentation is really gripping them. The gameplay still looks pretty fun, like from some of what I've seen, but it's way too early to make any calls on that. Fighting games, that's a tough thing to do. That you watch a prototype, like, match of a game, because who's to say that some of these things don't link into other things that could lead into infinites, for example. They're showing you combos that they know, but who's to say that these things aren't incredibly broken right now that they're actually handling, that just this fixed situation they recorded happened to look good. You don't really know. For example, Strive's beta, when I say beta, I don't mean the beta that was public, I mean, I should say alpha, really. Yeah, I should be fair to it, alpha, not even beta. But Strive's alpha, when it was people behind the scenes playing it, the feedback was constant because people were so blown away by, like, how much they cut it back and how these decisions were not working. Things were really busted in the old builds. I mean, Street Fighter 4, you can read up the history on 4. 4 was almost a complete train wreck as a game. And that's why Seth Killian had to come in and sort of fix it up at the last second. It's why there's a tribute to him in there. But I am feeling, like, decent about 6. I think it'll be fun. I don't know if it'll be, like, the best of the series or anything. But I think it'll probably get some people in that weren't interested in 5. 6 might actually lend them something that they'd be interested in. I'm just gonna have to see. Oh, are we at that point? Everyone's gonna start saying this is not Kirby Air Ride. No, I'm reading stuff here, but that's why I was telling people if you're unfamiliar with this. I do try to give a lot of time to like reading donations and making conversation off of them. I did wrap up Kirby. Julian is playing Pikmin in the back while I'm reading here. But here, let me keep going then. I think we tackled that as a subject. I'm looking forward to trying 6, though. I'm always looking forward to trying fighting games. Even if they don't grip me, I'm still fine to try them out. Melty Blood, there's a lot of characters in that series that do absolutely nothing for me, but I still have fun playing Melty Blood just because I like the mechanics. It's not the series I would prioritize just because there is a lot of stuff that I don't really have interest in from it. But I still appreciate how it plays and everything. I can still have fun with a fighting game if it just plays really well. That's why with Street Fighter 6, I'm just going to need to see. I'm going to have to play it. Or I could be like everybody else and maybe find like the first concept drawing of it and then take it and go, I don't think I'm going to buy this game. Maybe we should all just start doing the GTA 6 approach. What's this? A sketch? The game was supposed to be done. You're drawing sketches? What do you mean you have to refine this? No! Oh, we're canceling the whole game. I was handed a model yesterday by one of you employees, and it's like a wireframe? Well, sir, you can turn on the render. No. We're closing this whole project down, okay? I asked you for a model, and you gave me a wireframe. And there were, like, numbers on it. I do wonder where Street Fighter 6 was at when it came to, like, pre-alpha. Because once again, Street Fighter 4, we haven't actually seen a lot of footage of what that was like during its development. We've heard the stories, we've heard like the people who were doing local tests and everything on it, but we didn't see a ton of footage of it. So I wonder how 6 started off. But thank you, Misfit Mareki, for $1.99. Super Chat is super confusing. Is it? It seemed like to people it was more like straightforward than donating on Twitch. But thank you. Thank you, Big Rival, for $10. They said, me, my brother, and cousin used to play Kirby Air Ride a while back. Still have great memories and still think back on it a lot. It's a very good game. It's a very good game. And yeah, if you still own a copy of it, go boot it up again. Have some friends over. It's a fun one. It's a very good multiplayer experience on the GameCube. I'd say one of the better ones when it comes to like 4-player or 8-player games on there. It is cool, it has LAN adapter support. I should look into a list I never looked into a list of every game that was supported. I know Double Dash uses it. I know Air Ride uses it. There's a broadband adapter. People probably didn't know that about the GameCube. But no. Did you think that's going to work with Nintendo games? Silly. Nintendo wasn't doing online yet. It worked with Phantasy Star. Although people have figured out like action replay exploits and everything to get some games working online. But yeah, Phantasy Star was what it was kind of designed around. So broadband adapters go for a lot, which is kind of too bad, because I remember back at the time there was an application called Warp Pipe that people made that you could funnel that connection through and be able to like try to force LAN adapter based games to work over the internet. But I never even tried Warp Pipe. I knew it existed. This is way back. I was in like middle school at this point. I knew Warp Pipe existed, but I never actually got to try it. I never got to see how well it worked. But yeah, the LAN adapter is an interesting thing, but the GameCube even had it. I mean, didn't even the original Halo have the option to like link consoles together if you wanted to play on a few TVs for it? It's kind of a neat thing. It isn't really neat if you're thinking about modern time period or even back at that time that, hey, a TV is fucking expensive. Easier said than done. Is a friend going to wheel their TV over? I remember there were even PS1 games that required you to have to link up if you're going to play multiplayer. Motor Tune Grand Prix is a really fun game. It's even what led to Gran Turismo later on. But man, the multiplayer is only linked system only from what I recall. You have to link two PS1s together to play multiplayer in that. That's weird. I don't even know why. Could they just not get the game running well, I guess, with split screen? Or they couldn't figure it out? Motor Tune was a super early PS1 game, to be fair. But yeah, that was a thing, console linking. Some games did it. And I didn't mind it with the GameCube, except the GameCube was already so expensive for a lot of its stuff that it had too. Think of like the Game Boy Advance cables. If you wanted to play Four Swords proper, had to have a GameCube, had to have Four Swords, had to have 4 of those Game Boy Advance cables, had to have 4 Game Boy Advances. I remember people were making fun of it like crazy at the time just for that. It's like, Nintendo, how much money do you think people have for this? I couldn't convince my parents of it. I had 4 Swords on the GameCube, but I couldn't convince them to get like all those peripherals and everything. I had to just sort of experience the diet version of the game because it just wasn't going to happen. It was too expensive. Nintendo doesn't care. I mean, they still do it. They still push for things being overly excessive and expensive, but at least it seems like more people make an excuse for it because their demographic is like the people that grew up with them, so now it's adults that do have the money to afford it. But back at the time, yeah, you probably were not going to be able to convince your parents on a lot of that stuff. Nintendo did want to have you buying lots and lots of stuff to experience some of these games, which is too bad. And the LAN adapter is a good example of that. In theory, really cool, but how many people are actually going to have the setup for that? How many people are actually going to hook up the LAN adapter and have 2 GameCubes going, running one of those games with 2 TVs going? Probably not many. It's neat that it's there, but it wasn't going to be like a peripheral seller either. People were not going to be buying that LAN adapter like crazy. I appreciate that Nintendo didn't care, I guess, that it's like, whatever, we want to provide this for people who want to have a good time with like 8 people. Well, yeah, that's cool then. I'm fine for that, but it is a weird peripheral just for that. People will probably point at some of the stuff during that era as being like needless, but some of them I think were cool ideas. Thank you, Big Rival, for $10. Me... Oh, I read that already, but thank you. I am sorry, once again, that everybody... GameCube is so expensive. Like, used game market for it is a nightmare to navigate. I feel like an old man saying this now, because I remember 6 years ago, it wasn't as bad. It was just starting to get bad, and I remember having the first conversations about that, like, when I was streaming online for the first time, being like, oh yeah, doesn't it suck that, like, GameCube games are starting to go up in value and they're really expensive now? It's just kind of a standard now. That's where they're at. It's a shame. But if you have an opportunity to play Kirby Air Ride, yeah, play it. It was a lot of fun here tonight, and I only played it single player. With a big group, it's super fun. Air Ride Madoki also exists. I brought that up. It's a Japanese, like, fan game project for it that existed way back. And when I say way back, I mean like a decade ago. It's old. I don't even know if it would work now, necessarily. But it was neat. It was trying to recreate Air Ride by adding new vehicles and stuff onto it as well. So if you want to play Air Ride and you want to do it legal and you don't have a copy of it, there is always that as an option. Nintendo didn't go after them from what I know. Oh, but maybe they will now. Maybe Nintendo will go Google search a project that's been inactive for a decade just to start screaming about it now. You never know. I'm kind of shocked how small scale of projects they've attacked sometimes. Where it's like, this literally had like 11 people following it and you went after it. So who knows? But hey, Nintendo, maybe give people Air Ride again then. It'd be nice. If only we had some kind of virtual console. Thank you, Georgia Boy, for $20. Ding Dong Live? This is better than the time I went to the Cheesecake Factory during Ramadan. I can already imagine how that played out. Oh boy! A cheesecake! Hey there, you're gonna spoil your appetite. I personally love all the bread rolls they give you at the Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, too bad you don't know where their money is going and who they're funding. Yeah, then Meg goes, I really love the cheesecake. Shut up, Meg. I said it first. I like the cheesecake more than you do. Remember the time I said I like cheesecake more than you do? Shut up, Meg. I like cheesecake more than you do. Remember the time I said I like cheesecake more than you do? Shut up, Meg. I like cheesecake more than you do. This is a 20-minute bit that they do. I mean, they did it with Conway Twitty. That one wasn't even funny. It went for too long. I could see them doing it. Just an infinite loop that they can't escape from.
Slowly fades out and the credits roll.
You can still hear them doing it as the credits are rolling. Shut up, Meg. I like these credits more than you do. He changes the line. It's to see if you're still paying attention to the loop that he's trapped in. Thank you, Genbin AS, like Adult Swim maybe? Or like ass absent of an S. As, they gave $5 and they said, please stay, I beg of you. What? Well, stream's still going, but thank you. Thank you, Destination Unknown, like the Pokemon Unknown. Thank you, $25. They said, oh wow, actually caught your stream. Have a nice night. I'm glad you're able to come by. I know the streams are always erratic, because it's just whenever I can find time, typically. But hey, maybe YouTube is a better approach for this. It did seem like things went over way better here on YouTube than they tend to on Twitch. Things were super laid back here today. And it seems like a lot more people noticed that we were streaming. Maybe this was really what we needed to do here. Once again, this is a stream where I feel pretty good afterwards. I don't tend to have that. Usually there's some kind of stress that has to come afterwards, but no, today on YouTube it was pretty nice. Not a bad time over here. I was expecting a lot worse, but once again, we never know. Maybe I'll do a stream over here and then I get permanently banned because I watched a VHS tape and I'm not supposed to do that on YouTube. Maybe they won't care. Maybe they will. I feel like they will. YouTube has hit my channel here, the Stream Archive channel, so many times already. The Bubba Goes #2 footage had a copyright claim on it for the MIDI file that played, which, by the way, is stock music. I have that MIDI file. I've seen that MIDI file get used in games and all sorts of other places before. It's just an open MIDI file. But thanks to how lousy their copyright detection system is, I guess somebody just tried to claim it as their own anyways. But yeah, Bubba Goes number 2. That game got flagged. I didn't get a strike at least, but that's why when people were asking, I even had somebody leave a comment saying like, oh, I'm going to turn off ad blocker for your videos. I was like, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. Because the thing is, with most of the ads on these videos, it's just going to whoever is trying to claim all the music on them. They are doing that new thing, though. YouTube is doing that thing about music now, that it doesn't have to just kill off ad revenue or give you, like, copyright impact the way it once did. Which is good. I'm glad they're becoming more lenient about it. They really needed to. I hope that there can be more demand for convenience in the future, because it would be nice. It'd be nice to keep getting it. It'd be nice if YouTube could slowly actually improve itself. Or maybe Twitch could learn some lessons and stop worsening itself in some ways. But thank you, 8-Bit Juan, for $2. They said, Bing Chilling, and they posted an ice cream cone. I don't get it, but I hope the ice cream cone was good. Thank you. Maybe I stumbled into a thing. Maybe that's like a D's nuts. Oh my god. What have I done? Hey, dude, have you seen these? These what? These nuts! Ha ha ha! But seriously though, guess what? What? Chicken butt! Ha ha ha! Oh, guess who? What? These nuts! Ha ha ha! Dude? Dude? Hey, dude, he's not talking to me anymore. I don't get it. I do like that with Andy. Dude, don't call me dude. You know what's crazy about Mission Hill, being older watching it too? Realizing that, yes, Andy French is absolutely like 24, 25 years old. He absolutely acts like it. It's really weird looking back on it in that way now, because at the time, revisiting it, I was 25 when I first revisited it. I already was watching it at like age 20 and everything, and I got to go, oh, Andy French, he's an adult, he's older than me. Then watching it at the same time as like being the same age as Andy, now being significantly like older than Andy, and now realizing, yeah, that's pretty on point. Andy is acting very similar to a lot of people who would be within that like age demographic. Yes, there's dated elements, obviously, because it's like end of the 90s culture coming through it as a show. But mentality-wise, a lot of it feels pretty on point. Overconfidence. Yeah. Oh, I wish I could give this back, because I can't refund on here. Once again, I used to just refund like literally every donation on Twitch. And I'm not exaggerating. People can tell stories. I've been stubborn about it sometimes, too. I would just keep giving it back to someone, even if they told me not to. I can't refund stuff over here from what I know, but I'll look into it. I should know how to do that if I need to. Because the thing I always offered on Twitch was refunds to people if people regret the donation or something, or you just wanted a message read. You shouldn't have to throw away money for that. It is just a video game stream on the internet. People shouldn't have to lose money on stuff like this. All the support's absolutely appreciated, especially with all this right now that came through today. All that's going to be going towards, like, if we can, like, make this Halloween stream a little bit more of a thing. In the back right now, we're looking for a publisher for Bippy. That's kind of, like, top priority in actuality, but right now we're also getting this Halloween stream ready, and that's going to be the thing for you guys over here. Hopefully that can be a fun time for everyone next month. And yeah, everything that you guys have been donating here on stream today, we will be probably putting towards that to ensure that we can, you know, deliver the best experience we can, because there's a lot of stuff we want to do for Halloween. A lot of stuff. So we'll see how much we get to do. But yeah, Lengthy Lithuanian gave $50. No message, but man, that is a big donation. Thank you. With anyone who's super chatting, please keep in mind you have the money to do so as well. If you're in a tight spot, don't do it. You can just type in the chat. I'll probably read the chat and just respond. If you're having a rough time right now, but you want to throw a donation, maybe prioritize the rough time that you're having. Because, while it's appreciated as a thought, what matters most is that everybody else is also doing okay, too. I want to be sure everyone else is, like, doing fine. we're gonna be all right in most cases. Things get low, things get tough, but we've always figured out a way out of it. We've had some really rough situations that we've always been able to figure out a way out of. We want to make sure that all you guys can be okay as well. So I do appreciate the donation. $50 is a lot of money. Well, that's why, once again, too, I'll look into it, figuring out donation stuff, but for anyone before you donate here, just keep that in mind. You don't have to, and really, we would feel most comfortable, even in some cases, if you guys just held on to it. If you have a question to ask, you can just ask it. You don't have to put money with it. I know some people feel like that's the only way to get noticed. It's what Super Chat's even supposed to be. It's why it's called Super Chat. It's supposed to be, you are a Super Chatter. You get priority above everybody else. But, yeah, I'm going to be bad with the Super Chat system because I typically just read what everybody's saying anyways, and then just have conversations with people in chat. But I appreciate it. Thank you again, Lengthy. 50 is a lot of money. Thank you, Nickel CC. Pickles Nichols, remember? That was a weird deal he made.
It was.
And then Toki got diabetes from all of his candy. I'm happy! We talked about it actually a few nights back. It was a weird thing to just randomly come out because you made a joke about Toki. What was it? It was the thing he said about the insulin. But yeah, they do reference it later on. He stuffs the cake in his mouth. I hope that's still going through with all the nightmare stuff at WB right now. I hope we're still getting that Metalocalypse finale. Mike Lazo made that pure hell for them to even try to continue Metalocalypse. He's not there anymore. I would be so upset if this deal now just messed that up too. We almost had an opportunity for that and then we lose it. I know nothing's been said about it so far, right? That it's still probably in production. I hope it keeps up. I'd be sad if that didn't get to be made. Someone said this is live. No. This is pre-recorded. Is this pre-recorded? Is this pre-recorded? Sausages?
Oh, you beat me to it!
Oh, this is the best place to roll that joke in, because no one's gonna get it.
Yeah.
Oh, watch as it like legitimately becomes a thing, and then that's the context people get later. It's not a real joke to begin with. It's not a reference to anything. I'll just explain it. Back on Twitch, we were talking about just like internet memes and how absent they tend to be from like anything at this point. That the humor is just that sometimes it doesn't even have to make sense to someone. It's why Weed Eater worked for people. It's why a lot of Family Guy jokes, they don't understand the references, but they'll laugh. And we're just talking about like meaningless memes that sound genuine, like how Scrimblow became a thing, and for some people they probably didn't even think that was a meme because it sounds so goofy, and yet it is. Like, that is a thing that people use as a term. They're not a meme in the sense of like a shitpost, but just this is a term people are using now, or like it's an inside joke. So we were trying to come up with the idea of like, what's something that could sound like that? What's something we could manufacture to sound as if like it was an inside joke that was running for the longest time, but there was never a joke. It doesn't mean anything. It's just there purely to confuse people. Just to see if someone will laugh at it if they hear it. As if like, oh, I get it, that's like an inside joke you guys have. Just to realize, no, there was never an inside joke. That's actually just a test for people on the outside. If hearing some bizarre phrase makes them think it's a joke. And that's what we came up with was, sausage? With a question mark. That's it. Just saying sausage in the chat. As people started doing it in streams, they would just randomly go, sausage? And you would have it. People did come in and go, oh, I don't get the joke. What's it a reference to? It's a reference to nothing! But it did work. People thought it was like a long-running inside joke when, no, it literally had no point and it didn't mean anything. Because it sounds like it. Sausage as a question. It's a question. It's like it's adding on to something. There's context before that, right? No, it's just a random statement. But it sounds like it's attached to something, doesn't it? When enough people say it, it sounds like it means something. So we were doing that for a while, just people going, sausage? And you would just test if anyone would respond to it by going like, oh, I don't get it. Can you explain the joke? And it would happen. Doesn't that make it an inside joke? I mean, the inside joke is that there's no joke. Yes, it does make it an inside joke. It does loop back around. But sausage itself is not a joke. The joke is there is no joke, and you're trying to test other people if they think it's a joke or not. So the joke ends up being the response rather than the thing itself. You're not laughing at sausage? You're laughing at how someone responds to sausage. Someone said you're making me hungry for a good sausage. It's okay. Earlier I was starving for like good Japanese food because of all the food in Kirby Air Ride. Now you get to know my pain. Thank you, Uwu. They did it. Their name is just Uwu. They gave $5 and then they typed a smiley. Well, that's not an Uwu anymore. That's just a smiley face. You messed it up. But thank you. Thank you, Uwu. Smiley face. Whichever name you want to go by. By the way, is everyone going to go see the new movie Smiley? It's about a killer that comes from the internet that if you type I did it for the lulz 3 times... Oh wait, no, the new movie's called Smile. Sorry, I got the two confused. There's a horror movie coming out about the internet called Smile, and that a person appears behind you... whatever. I don't need to keep this going. I only know about it because YouTube keeps shoving it in front of me, and then it keeps giving me surveys about, are you going to see the movie Smile? No. Well, I guess we have to run more ads for him then. I feel like that's why they do those surveys. Did this ad work for you? No. I guess he hasn't seen it enough. It'll work on you. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I keep getting it mixed up with Smiley, though. Smiley was a really embarrassing film that was the premise. YouTubers were in it. I think Shane Dawson had a role in it. Was it Shane Dawson? I don't remember who was in it. I don't even know who Shane Dawson is. I don't even know YouTubers. I know names that people will say, but I don't know what they actually do. But it was very early YouTube days, and yeah, it was a horror movie about saying, I did it for the lulz. If you say it 3 times, I did it for the lulz, Smiley shows up and he kills you. And then there's a party later in the movie that they all get together and go, oh yeah, we're from 4chan, I'm from B.
From B.
It's a funny piece of media to look back on. Maybe it's a thing that can, like, I don't know, have a resurgence just for how embarrassing it was. It's so hokey, it's so corny, it's so exploitative of, like Unfriended, for example, just trying to take advantage of, like, hey, that internet thing, people like that, right? Maybe there's some charm to it to go back to it. Maybe it's endearing, but probably not. It's probably just embarrassing. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time. Maybe I check it out this Halloween. Kron said, that movie sucked. What? Then you're gonna tell me Stay Alive was a bad movie. Come on. Next you're gonna tell me a lot of horror movies aren't very good movies. That is the thing I think a lot of people understand about horror movies. A lot of it is just schlock. But the thing is, horror as a genre, when it's done well, it doesn't have to be schlock. It can be something very poignant, very effective. Get people, like, feeling things they weren't feeling before. You could really get something good out of horror. But a lot of people do like schlocky horror. They do like that kind of thing. And Smiley, I wouldn't even say is schlocky. Smiley is just, like I said, exploitative, if anything. Once again, I think the thought process was, yeah, that internet thing, yeah, get on that. And get one of those YouTubes in there, I don't know. Hey, they're using the Skype or something. Make a movie about that. There's like a evil Skype baby ghost or something that's trying to, like, kill everybody. I don't know.
What are you thinking, like Dancing Baby?
Yeah, it's true. Someone just brought it up. Jordan Peele seems like the only serious horror director right now. It is impressive, isn't it? He's got a pretty decent catalog under him, and he's taking it seriously as a genre.
I'm excited about the new Henry Selick.
Yes, the new Henry Selick thing I'm really looking forward to. And for something to actually give me, like, Jordan Peele a lot of respect, too, he has been pushing that in interviews. He has been making it very clear to people this was the guy that was responsible for Nightmare Before Christmas. And I'm glad. I'm glad Henry Selick is being given a chance and he's getting recognition.
I never thought it would happen.
No, I didn't think it would either. I think Jordan Peele would be the one doing it, but I'm glad. I'm glad it's happening. And I'm glad Henry Selick is getting to work on a horror thing that's PG-13, by the way. I'm excited to see where it's going to go and what it's going to be. The visuals that they've shown already, very Henry Selick, and it's looking pretty nice. I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. It's October 28th, was it? Sometime at the end of October it's coming out, so it'll be in time for Halloween. Opal is probably worth rewatching for people if they have seen it even. It seems like a lot of people haven't seen it, but yeah, Jack Stauber's thing for Adult Swim a few years back. Opal is worth watching, I would say. I think you could skip on Pibby, but Opal is worth it for sure to go back to, I think. It's a very, very, very good piece of media, and probably one of Jack's better works. I really liked it. And it was really fun to have just because the visuals already make people uncomfortable that it distracts them from what it's about, and it worked every single time. Pretty much everybody I watched it with. The twist is to be expected that it's coming. You know there's a twist, obviously. But people sure didn't know that that was what it was going to be, and it was interesting getting to see so many different friends and people going from, ooh, this is spooky, to, oh, that's what this is about. That you're seeing a turnover from, like, terror, but some joy coming through it, to, oh no, that's incredibly depressing. But that's why I love it so much. I'm glad that Jack's work always has so much heart put into it. And I feel like he's one of the best at, like, conveying emotions that people don't know how to convey.